Man, what's up? Josh always got something to say. How y'all doing today? Welcome to Hope. He just fucked up my whole little routine. No, we're going to have a great class, another one tonight. So we're going to continue the dialogue. We're going to get deep. We're going to work on, continue to work on the tools that we started last week and the week before. Second half is going to be fire. So buckle up, buttercup. We about to keep rocking. Get your notes and pens and all that stuff together so that we can continue. We're going to do some more audience stuff this class just to get some real-time feedback. And yeah, let's get to it. So I'm excited for it. First thing I want to talk about a little bit is a couple little pieces before we go into the slide. One is talking about context, religions. So, Christian religions, what percentage do you think the world of Christianity is? What percentage do you think everyone in the world are Christians? Any guesses? Any guesses? 30, 70, 10? 25 Christians? Huh? 40%? 2.2 million. That's about 30% of the world is Christians. What about Muslim? What percentage of the world do you think is Muslim? I heard 40? 50? 20%? 15. 23% of the world is Muslim. So that's about 50%. What's the other one? What percentage do you think of people who don't believe in God at all just don't fuck with it? 30? 15? About 16%, so you close. 16%. That's the highest that has ever been of people who don't believe in shit. That's it. Atheism used to be the small minority. It's only 4% behind Muslims in the country. Then you have Hindus. Hindu religion. But what about Jews? What percentage do you think are Jews? Huh? 3%? I'm not going to repeat that. 3%? 20% Jews? Any more guesses? 20%? 1.5? Any other? Huh? Actually, it's 0.2. 0.2% of the population follow the Jewish religion. Then you have Buddhism and Hinduism. Hinduism, you can pretty much guess, is mostly Indians, and there's 1 billion people in India. So it's pretty much precisely that percentage, which is about 8% or so, a little bit under 8%. And then you have Buddhist, which is similar. But you have billions of people who believe slightly different philosophies about God. Which one's better? Which one's the best? Ashley, the super Christian, is looking at me like, girl, don't look at me like that. I'm about to bang my C's right now. I'm about to bang my C. Well, you see that one Mexican dude, Jesus Christ, and he started pop locking and shit. But she brings a great point. To the Christian, it's Christianity. What the fuck you talking about? Hell yeah, what else is there? You sure do. To the Hindus, it's the same. Ask a Muslim who they think the best is. Of course they're going to say them, or else they wouldn't be it. An atheist will look at all y'all like y'all crazy. Like, for real? You for real going to believe in some invisible shit that ain't nobody seen? Really? It'll make no sense. Bring them to me. Let me see them. Oh, you're going to read a book that somebody wrote thousands of years ago? Ain't nobody validated, huh? And y'all just going to run with it. To atheists, it's just preposterous to believe in anything. It's illogical. Who's right? Who's right? Christians laugh at Hindus because Hindus believe in multiple gods and reincarnation. And cows are sacred and all kind of stuff. Buddhists believe in reincarnation as well. Christians, what is that? Jews, they don't fool with Jesus Christ. Jews. So you got to understand, if you understand relativity, the word relativity, then you understand the word context, then you also understand you have to turn your judgment all the way down. Because what you think is the best could be the worst for somebody else. What works for you could be a detriment to somebody else. That's why it's tough to play the comparison competition game. It's a dangerous game to play. When the person can be standing right next to you, look like you, kind of dress like you, and if you get caught up in trying to follow their blueprint of success, you'll be fucked up and not understand why. Everybody's journey is different. I got a partner I grew up with. We've been friends since 5 years old. I was 5, he was like 7 or 8. This kid came out the womb a thug, period. Like a lot of us, we were good kids or nerdy kids, whatever we were in our purest form, and then Oakland fucked us up. You know what I'm saying? Over time. Oakland messed our minds and heads up. This kid came out bad as fuck. Like parents didn't know what to do with him, and they just let him do whatever because he was wild at a young age. And so he, for some reason, took a liking to me. And probably because I had 2 older sisters that was cute, and he was always wanting to come over so he can be around them. But this dude took to the streets so young, and the streets took to him. And he would get in the most craziest predicaments. Shootouts, shootbacks, selling dope, doing all kind of stuff. And he will always slip under the radar, somehow not get caught, get shot and not die a few times. And you know where he is right now? Living in Daly City, married, chilling. And all the friends that we grew up with who tried to be like him, guess where they at? Not here. Not here. Listen, I don't know what it is or what about it is, but I recognize that early. So when I felt it for me, we go ride. But when you go do that. You go do that. And that's how it is in life and in entrepreneurship. You have to find your rhythm. You have to find what works for you. This class ain't no formula class. It's not a formula class. It's a mindset class. It's a thought process class. It's an expander. This is a tool set class. We teach you tools to use for your formula. You got to find it. We also help you. What's the process in looking for a formula? As an entrepreneur, worst thing you can do is try to copy somebody. Get caught up. It's the fastest way to get depressed. Fastest way to get depressed. Plus, here's the thing. Most of the time we don't consider timing. Short game, long game. We might walk in on somebody who's been working on some shit for 20 years, and we might walk in right at the moment where they pop and be like, I want that. Or we might be walking in on somebody who has a short game play. There ain't no longevity plan. And walked in right when they popped and said, I want that. And if you copy that, then you also copying the same short game plan where there's no long-term, second order effects of effects thinking. So following somebody's formula, it might be a fucked up formula and you don't know it. I had a mortgage company for a short period of time. True story. I had a mortgage company. And I was making a ton of money. Well, a ton of money for me back then. Not no more, but I was making good money. Like $500,000 a year in my pocket. And so one time, somebody came to me and said, hey, I thought it was a hater. Because I came in the game and I passed everybody. And she said, you know them loans you selling ain't cool, right? What the fuck you talking about? You telling me these loans ain't cool. You a fucking hater. You just mad because I'm styling on you. What the fuck is she talking about? So I go off. The thing was, I never was trained on what the fuck the loans did. I just was trained by somebody who taught me what to do. Fuck, what's she talking about? Let me do some fucking research on these damn loans. I pull the loans up. I'm like, oh shit. These loans like balloon and do all kind of shit. And I've given my friends some of these loans, my family members these loans. So now I'm like, she was right. So now I'm like, all right, I made a list of people who I gave them loans to, and I called them all like, hey, meet me. But I didn't know that I tried to clean up the best I could and get most of them in better loans, and then I quit the business. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was playing a short game play and didn't even know it. Just based on watching somebody next to me ball out and just say, I want to do what you're doing, teach me what you're doing. Worst thing you can do, find your rhythm. Find your rhythm. Find your rhythm. Find your rhythm. And it comes down to understanding context. You hear the term, there's 3 sides to every story? 3? Yours, hers, and the truth. Always. Always. So that comes from just the week's worth of conversations that I had. Usually I do that. Just from the bubbling forth after I draw up the class it's usually every time an opportunity to speak on something where it's not directly to that person, but other people may benefit. All right, so let's get it cracking. Next slide. Let's go recap. Yeah.
So this is from the 15 Conscious Laws of Leadership book. That is where the question stems from. So when they were talking about radical responsibility, when you're taking ownership and responsibility, how does that look different from blame or making yourself a villain?
Making yourself a what?
A villain.
Cool. So I'm gonna take the villain part out because we're gonna talk about villains. Okay. But let's talk about blame. Remember we did that exercise where I said, maybe a few classes back, where we walked through a sentence that made you feel like you were at fault, and then we walked through a sentence that made you were taking on responsibility. The difference is the feeling. The difference is the feeling. Ownership is responsibility. It comes with no byproduct of beating yourself up or fuck, or I'm a loser, or I'm a failure, or I'm a this. Responsibility is your head is on a swivel about what you can do to shore up where you are, and you own it all. So if we take it literal and you own a building, the building's beautiful. You put tenants in it, and a couple of the tenants start fucking the place up. You own it. What are you gonna do? You'll kick their ass out. You're gonna figure out how to optimize your building. You own it. Who else is they gonna go to? And entrepreneurship is like that. Who else are people gonna run to if you are an entrepreneur? You it. So if you ain't taking radical responsibility, that's like having a leak in your boat. It's like having a leak in your boat. So the main difference between responsibility and blame is feeling. If you blaming yourself, I'm blaming myself, it's all my fault. It's a feeling. Responsibility is a feeling too. Ownership is a feeling. So you swapping feelings. All right, so recap. Let's go.
Can y'all? Okay. The path to rapid learning is through being curious.
The path to rapid learning is through being, you guys remember that. The path to rapid learning is through curiosity. This shit is not a drill. I'm probably going to say that for the rest of the year. It's not a drill. The path to rapid learning is through being curious. It's curiosity. It's not an option. The slower and faster you learn depends on depends on how closed and how open your curiosity is.
There are four competencies trump all leadership success. Self-awareness.
Okay, this is always the biggest one, because we in a distraction. We're in distraction city. Most of us, we distract ourselves. We don't want to look at ourselves. We don't. We do not want to look at ourselves. In any of the pillars, remember the pillars we talked about? We will run like a motherfucker past the mirror of all those pillars. You see a mirror, you know you ain't where you running past it. Don't look at it. But we also do that mentally. We do it spiritually. We do it financially. I'm not looking at my online bank account. I'm not looking at it. With our relationships, when was the last time you called somebody that you ain't talked to in a minute? They cool. They will be all right. That you supposedly love. They'll be all right. We cool. We got that kind of relationship. We don't got to see each other for 15 years, but when we back, it's all good. We run. So this is the big one. And especially in today's time, social justice. We don't shame me. It's hella new terms to keep us from having to face shit. I don't gotta face it because I can just throw out one of these newfound terms and it deflects and keeps everybody off me. Don't shame me. Mental health. You are gaslighting me.
That's hilarious.
You are a narcissist. You are mansplaining. You are fat shaming. It's all these terms that allows you to stay hidden from the mirror. And as leaders and entrepreneurs, we embrace the mirror. We embrace the mirror. And what did we talk about last week when embracing the mirror? It's two things. They both start with the word self. Once we look at the mirror, it's, get on that mic. Let them know, girl, let them know.
Working on it, baby. Acceptance and forgiveness.
Self-acceptance. You accept it. I am where I am. My money is where it is. My mental is where it is. My relationships are where they are. My body and health is where it is. My spirituality, my connection with my Creator is where it is. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, financial, and relationships. It is where it is. And then after that, after you accept it, before your brain starts running into, I'm a fucked up person, I'm worthless, you do what? You forgive yourself. Self-forgiveness.
I was telling Nana, we were walking into the car reading the Conscious Leadership book. It sounds stupid, but when they talked about what is commitment, and they explained it in one simple sentence, is commitment is the equivalence of what you have. So you can tell in your life what you are committed to, not what you say you're committed to, but like how your body is, you are committed to that weight. How your finances are, you are committed to that number in your account. And I was just like, oh my God, my commitment is the lump sum of where I'm at today. Like, that was so revolutionary in my head because there was such a great contrast between what I thought I was committed to and what I'm actually committed to. And that was powerful because then I got to go through the accept and forgive and then realign to where I want to go to. But that shit was fire.
Dope. So, self-awareness. If you ain't start playing the self-awareness game, get on that bus with us. Because the self-awareness game, there's so many gems in self-awareness. That's where your success is. Self-awareness. Like, have you ever seen somebody who cut their own hair and they forgot the little parts in between the ears? You ain't used no mirror, huh? Because you just know you got it. I felt it. I felt that I got it. True self-awareness is knowing. You're 100% sure. Knowing, and being comfortable with your score. I don't know about you, but I'm competitive to myself. I'm not competitive with other people, but I'm competitive with myself. If I'm like, I know I could do better than that, then Court, let's go. That's all I need. Give me a low score. See what happens. Because I know I could do better. And it's not better than y'all. It's better than I was yesterday. So if I'm 1 today, I know come on, man. I'm better than that. Let's go for 2 tomorrow. Let's go for 3. Oh, shit. I'm back down to 4. Damn. How the fuck did I get back down here? Oh, that's from that. Okay. You playing a game of life with yourself. That's why fuck what other people are doing. You are playing the game of life with yourself, and once you get self-aware, it's a fun-ass game. And you're less affected by the outside world, what other people say. Because a judgment doesn't affect you as hard because you know where you are, you know where you're going, you know where you was yesterday. So if they're like, well, how come you're not there? Well, I'm not there yet, but I was there yesterday, and I'm here today. So the fact that you even talking shit to me about here is a testimony of how I've been moving up. So we good. We good. It's a beautiful, that's the game you're going to play for the rest of your life. Self-awareness game. Next.
Learning agility.
Learning agility. Now, you know what the enemy to learning agility is? Anybody want to guess? The enemy of learning
Expertise.
agility.
Being right.
Close. No, not, but you're on the right track. The enemy to learning agility. Any guesses?
Right and wrong.
Perfectionism. I'm just a perfectionist, and they look at me to be like, oh man, that's good. No, it's good that you're a perfectionist. And I'm like, damn, how long you been afflicted with that virus? Cause that shit is not cool. It ain't good for you. Let me guess. Let me put my woo hat on. I'm rubbing my crystal ball. I say that there are. Yes, I'm rubbing my crystal balls. I lean into it. Fuck it. And I'm gonna venture to say that you have some projects that you've been wanting to put out for years, that they're just not quite right yet, that you haven't put out yet. Is my intuition working? How'd you know? Okay. Written all over your shit. If you're a perfectionist, you know how the graveyard of dope ass projects for perfectionists is huge. It's like the rolling hills. It's huge. Meanwhile, us fuck ups and ESL students and C students and at-risk kids putting shit out and getting better and putting it out again and getting better. And we reiterate that over and over and over and over again. So by the time we start generating revenue from it, because now it moves from a C to a B because the law of compound interest keeps improving it. Now we got a business. And meanwhile, the perfectionists are judging it. Oh, well, it's missing that, or it's not quite right because it doesn't have that, or it doesn't have this. You ain't done shit. You ain't done shit. Well, if I did it, it would be, or it's missing, but you ain't done shit. And then the cold part is when you dive out and put your perfect product out, it's really a D anyway. Because it needs to do the same thing. Because it's perfect in your mind. But the market don't think so. So the enemy of learning agility is perfectionism.
And let me add something. There's a principle in system thinking that says the first sign of a death of a nation is when a nation claims it's arrived, or it's perfect, or it's best. Because the greatest quality you can have as a human being is agility. And matter of fact, one of the things that destroys agility for most human beings also is fairness. So how does fairness destroy agility? Evolution doesn't give a shit about none of the stuff you have in your mind, right? So you'll get to a certain point and go, this is fair, it should be like this, or we live here, we should be like this. Evolution says, no, as things change and evolve, because survival is the number one game, that things will always change. Meaning that tomorrow, blacks and whites could actually integrate and become another race over a certain amount of hundreds of years, right? In our mind, we think, oh, that's absurd. They oppressed us. They put us in slavery. Evolution says, I don't give a shit about your stories. So as an entrepreneur, a lot of times we're building a business, we have these goals. Goals is a limitation of your thinking. Really, you're playing the evolution game. And as soon as you get to one point, the world evolves around you, and not all of a sudden you went from an A to a C overnight. And if you're not constantly evolving and changing and adjusting and being adaptable, you literally just die off in this game. So the game of life is not about arriving at any set point, because everything around you always adjusts, but your brain is very linear. I want to go from point A to point B. There is no B's. There is no point C. It's always going to change. And the change is outside of anything you've seen in the past.
Absolutely. Next one.
Communication.
So we have to learn the art of communication. We have to. Have to learn to communicate. You can't just be, I just want to be in the back making my shit. Can't do that. I just want to be in the back making my shit. Entrepreneur always leaves themselves vulnerable. Because if their shit is good enough, then that means they have to trust a communicator. And that's a tough one. So you have to learn how to communicate with yourself, with your employees, with customers, with investors, whoever. You got to learn how to communicate. Last one.
Influence.
Influence. If I can't convince you to buy my ex, we don't eat. Just plain and simple. If I can't convince you to buy my ex, we don't eat. And as we talked about earlier, everyone's style of influence is different because everyone has different influential tools. See what I'm saying? So if you made $1 million off of or your particular style of influence, and you happen to be a beautiful woman that's in season for everybody, I can't use your strategy. I have to find a strategy that works for me. But whatever that is, influence is necessary. Because influence, if you have influence, you can sleep good at night, knowing that when you wake up in the morning, you can go get that bread. If you don't have the bottom two, it's hard to sleep at night because you're at the mercy of somebody else converting for you. You got to learn how to convert. Man, and it's a trip. I used to call myself the biggest introvert, the person who don't like talking to people, didn't like people, period. And like I came up with this whole fucking story. Because when I started my business, I had a salesperson, dynamic as fuck. I get to be in the back. When I lost that salesperson, shit. I learned. Because you got to. Next one.
The key to self-awareness is being in the present.
All right. So this is a lead up if you already don't know. We setting you up for what's coming. So the key to self-awareness is being in the present. So if you stuck in the past and I say, where are you at in your finances on a scale of 1 to 10? And you're stuck in the past, you're like, well, last year back in the day, I had it pop. All your answers is gonna come from the past. If you stuck in the future, I can ask you a straight question. What's your finance look like? And you will answer me about what future money. Well, we're on target, my projections, but I didn't ask you that. I said today, like let's log on right now. But we're wired and programmed, a lot of us, to be stuck in the past or the future, rarely ever in the present. Because again, we run. We don't like looking in that mirror. It feels better. The nostalgia feels better to go in the past. And the dopamine feels better to talk about the future. Present, if it ain't cool, mm-mm. And it definitely comes from trauma shit. But we got to get over it, especially if we want to grow. So if you find yourself answering questions like that, you know where you are, where you stuck. I'm in the past or in the present. Oh, where am I? Where am I? I'm not going to say it. But let's go on. Let's move on. Sometimes I get these things like, here's an illustration for you. And I'm like, no, motherfucker, don't ever do that. We're not going to talk about that. Next slide.
It's not going. Oh, there we go. Drifting versus being present.
Drifting versus being present. Drifting versus being present. So, the concept of drifting. Drifting is what we do. Now, the reason why it's called drifting is because it's subtle. It's not harsh. When you drift, the concept of drifting is you think about a boat that's floating. If you can't see land, you kind of don't know that you're drifting because you feels like you're standing still. Feels like you're standing still because you're just rocking back and forth. And if you do not have your anchor down, it all feels the same. All feels the same. And that's what happens. We don't intentionally immediately see ourselves and run. It's a little thing. A little thing. A little drift. Because guess what happens? That survival brain of yours is a motherfucker. Oh, it's a motherfucker. So what it will do, it has control over certain functions of your body, your mind and your body, the survival list in you. That's why when people, some people lie, they get itchy. Why are you getting, think about why you lie, you itching. Because your body's is going through resistance. Or you look away, look down. So your body gives you certain cues, but what it also does, which is kind of fucked up, is that if you're forced to face something, you'll get an idea. You get a reason. Oh, man, I forgot I need to go do something else. Oh, I gotta write down. You'll think of something that you're supposed to have been thinking of for a long time, that you need to write down, or a person you need to call, or something you need to lock, or a door you need to close, or something to keep you from to get you out of that present moment. Because survival mode doesn't care about that shit. It just wants you to survive. So, and y'all know what I'm talking about. And the key is to put yourself back on track to be in the present. Somebody forced you to take responsibility for something and you just dead middle in the conversation just said something way out the way? Because your brain just jumped, what about the stars over there? Like, no, get your ass back here with me and let's get back to responsibility. Why did your brain do that? It's survival. It's the first step into drift. You can come up with the best comebacks when somebody got your ass in a corner. So it's up to us to play the game of, I recognize what I'm doing. Okay, hold on. Back to what you were saying. Sorry about that. Well, I could do that later. Hold on. And what you're doing is you're training your brain saying, no, we're going to do this. We're going to get through this. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to accept where I am. We're going through this all the way through. That's the courage that you have, that you want this shit. That's courage. And once you do it once, it becomes easier to do it the second time. Once you do it that second time, it's easier to do it that third time. And now you're on your way to being present. What's happening right now? I'm in this space right now talking to you right now. Present moment, the present moment, that's why I don't mean to get too, but meditation is good. Meditation is good because you practice being in the present moment. You are literally listening to your inhales and your exhales. Inhales, your exhales. and your brain starts, if you're new to it, your brain starts going nuts and then wants to run, think about all kind of shit. And once you realize what it's doing, you just reel yourself back in and get back to breathing and listening to your breath. Once you get good at that, there's some shift that happens once you lock in on it, and you'll be able, it opens yourself up to yourself. You open yourself up to yourself. In 15 minutes into my meditation, I can feel my heart beating. I can count. I could literally hear my heart beating. I can hear it and I can feel it in my chest. Because you practice being present. I can feel the heartbeats in my fingertips. Because it's a present moment game. So then when somebody got to tell me something serious, or fuck, there's something bad that happened. All right, well, what is it? Let's go. What is it? What's the problem? And let's get to the solution. So it don't have to be meditation, but you have to practice being in the present moment. It could be working out, and you practice feeling every single rep. Or you running, you feel every step. Whatever it is, but practice being in the present moment. Not freaking out. Present moment. So drifting, being in the present moment. Those are the two keys.
I want to leverage a little bit more around drifting. Drifting is way fucking crazy deep. So I told a story that my father was a pimp and a dope dealer, and he won Pimp of the Year in 1973. This is not even real. This is not even a fake story. This is a real story. So a question came up: how does a woman go from somebody like a lot of the powerful women in this room to a prostitute? I couldn't process it, because I would also meet a lot of these prostitutes, and I would find them to be, very interesting, cool conversations, stories, all kind of stuff. They drifted. It took me years to figure that out. So what do you mean by drifting? Drifting is this thing where if I do this ain't that much further away. And then if I do this ain't that much further away. And then if I do this ain't that much further away. And by the time I'm way down here, I'm like, you can walk into my world today and go, how'd you get here? I've been drifting so slow. And here's the funny part, and you know this as well. If somebody wise walks up to you while you're drifting, they say, hey, stop drinking that wine at this time of day. Oh, you overdoing it, right? Go to workouts. You ever see somebody going to the gym, they working out, and they start to drift? They miss the first day because, my ankle was sore this week, so I didn't work out. Next thing you know is, I got this thing my daughter's doing at the school. Before you know it, 6 months to a year have passed, 30 pounds is added, and going to the gym is so hard. But a year ago, you loved the gym. You drifted, right? It happens in relationships. It happens in... Drifting is not obvious steps. They're so subtle that it almost seems petty to talk about them. So think about, so if you have to... so let's reverse this. Now you're in the shoes of controlling your drifting. Do you understand how petty or how small or how micro you have to analyze things now? Because if you're just looking at the big picture and the big goals and the highlights of your life, you're missing all the subtle drifts that are happening. And when it happens, you're like, how in the fuck did I get here? And usually it requires, drifting's like biases. Biases, when you talk about biases, rarely do people catch biases when they're happening. They catch them in hindsight. Biases are really designed for people around you to come talk to you. But if you destroy your feedback loop, you cannot save yourself from drifting. It's impossible. Because somebody has to come to you who can see it. Like Court talks about a lot of drifting in his class. He tells you these long stories. I went from here, right? Or I had a partner who did this, right? But when they were here and you told them, hey, this next move here, they had a third level of the drift. You're like, yo, you about to be here. They'd be like, come on, you going way too far to say just because I'm smoking a little weed and drinking with these people here, I'm about to be a hoe. That's way too much. But drifting says, It's very possible. And it's going to be certain unpredictable things that happen to your life that trigger other decisions that you feel that your brain is in survivor mode responding to, that puts you in the next sub position. And before you know, you push yourself out of positioning. Last point. So then that brings up the other issue. This drifting thing is a positioning thing. Always. So if you don't have if you're not got to the point where you can receive feedback, always pay attention to your positions. And that will help slow down drifting for you. So all your decisions, how does this position me if I make this decision? But trust me, drifting is so subtle that the person who talks to you gonna seem like they're telling you that you have a piece of hair on your shoulder and it's too much. You be like, oh, this person's all over. Oh, that's literally so when you get to this feedback game and you're on the other side of being received the feedback, no, the feedback won't be grand. A lot of it's gonna be soft and subtle.
Real talk. Little story. I got a brother, oldest brother. I love him. He was my favorite brother. I have 5 brothers. He was my favorite. Kindest, nicest to me. Only one that didn't beat me up and all that shit. But he ended up playing AAA baseball. Got called up to play for the Oakland A's for a little bit. But Walt Weiss came to the Oakland A's and he lost his spot. And then he went and played professional overseas. That brother came back from playing pro and started working in a bank. Became a Jehovah's Witness, suits, knocking on doors. Like the textbook life. Had a wife and daughters. But the woman he married, she got with him when he was in his Oakland A's days. And she was one of them like, I'm gonna show up to the party and with all my shit on, and I need a man that got everything. But the bank money ain't paying like the baseball money no more.
Come on now.
So he was trying to hold on to this woman. Guess what happened? Some bank money started missing. Found out. My brother's square as they come. Baseball player, church. San Quentin, he goes. San Quentin, he goes. Comes out. He came out damn near like the rest of my brothers now. Manipulator, dope fiend, stressed out. My brother, he a pretty boy. Light skin, blue eyes. Like blue eyes, light skin, red hair. I will never, if you ever try to joke, no, I didn't, nobody touched me, what? You was too pretty to be up in it. No, I wasn't. Don't ever say that again. He would always get offended.
Good grief.
But fucked him up. Couldn't get a job. Wife left him, of course. So he ended up moving back in with us. I'm a teenager. My mom's trying to help him get on his feet. She lets him borrow the car, brings the car back. Car smell like crack. After a few episodes of that, you gotta go. So he goes and destroys relationships with everybody else who knew him as the angel brother. He dogged them all out until he ran out of relationships. Guess where he ended up? Berkeley, sleeping in the park. And we would routinely go visit him and just put food out there. Wouldn't want to come home because he felt at home. He felt at home. And he did that for years. So when you say shit don't happen like that, it's small little decisions. In my brain, we lost my brother, right? Lost him. Crack gang was he was gone, right? So over time, he ended up getting his life together. So now he's doing good in Texas. But it took him years, like 15, 20 years of that. If you wanted to go see with my brother, you go to the park in Berkeley, whatever that park is, People's Park. That's where you will find my oldest brother. People's Park. I want to go check on my brother. He there, and it's a whole ecosystem. Money, sex, drugs, power, Debo, the runners. They have a whole ecosystem, and he would tell me about it. And he like, most of the people there don't even want to leave. So drift is powerful. And you know the cold part about it is most of us, if not all of us, are 1 or 2 decisions away from being just like that. And we don't think we are, but most of us are. And some of us did start to even go down that path, and maybe God stepped in, or whatever you call it, and you got lucky to where you got a lesson before it got that bad, and you heeded the lesson. Ooh, whew, let me not. So don't ever get caught up thinking that you better than anybody. That homeless person you see, or them hoes, or the prostitutes, or the pimps, or the drug dealer, anybody that's out there, always know that we 1 degree from one decision. Don't feel like you better than nobody. That's why it's important. And here goes back to self-awareness. If you are not self-aware, then by the time you catch on that you drifted, you deep. If you self-aware, you can be like, oh shit, caught myself. What the fuck is wrong? See what I'm saying? It's like, the weight game is easy because to quantify. It's if you ignore what you eating and not working out for months and months, and you ignoring it, then it's going to be harder for you to get back on your road versus you being so self-aware, you know that you just ate something unhealthy and now you feel nasty. But it's only been a week. All right, let me get back on my shit. I had my fun. Let me get back on my shit.
But I mean, think about that. Think about that. That means you have to follow rules that you don't have any immediate evidence. Oh, ye of little faith. Ain't that cold? Because if you don't know how to walk in faith, most rules that give you long-term rewards are walks of faith. And I would even argue that the survivor mode that you talked about in previous class is one of little faith. Because they're just looking for instant results and instant feedback and if they don't get instant feedback, then they want to argue, question, don't even want to value the conversation. But realistically, the drift is really understanding these rules that will actually take you in the opposite direction, right? But these rules, like for example, you go to the gym right now and you work out. You don't go to the gym for 1 month and get any real major body change, right? Especially if they say you got rolls in your stomach, or your back, or your legs, whatever. You try and get rid of it right away. You get no results. You got to stick. You have to have faith that this routine over a year will give you results. And in that whole year, doubt, which is like the devil, right, speaks to you all the time about what can't be done. This is stupid. Why are you doing this? This ain't even working. Oh my God! And even if you know change has a compounding. It doesn't go straight. It's like it drags, and then compounds and it speeds up. So in that drag space, you're doing this for 10, 12 months, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months, and the last 2 months you get these results. Do you have the faith to follow the process? So a lot of times when you're sitting there, you're having a good time, and somebody says, oh, put down that food. And then that part of your brain goes, oh, what's going to hurt if I just eat this whole cake tonight? Right? You don't realize, well, if I can eat a whole cake tonight, this weekend it's going to be hard for me to eat a whole gallon of ice cream. And next week, it's going to be hard for me to drink a whole bottle of soda. And before you know it, you've almost slowly but surely, because you don't see that invisible process of why rules and structure and thinking about these decisions of faith are so important, you don't have the ability to walk the path of faith.
True story.
There's
Go.
an online question, which is, how do you control the intersection between drifting and preventing overthinking? Or maybe a better question is there an intersection between catching yourself from drifting and overthinking?
Well, it goes back to self-awareness. Overthinking and self-awareness are like oil and water. They don't mix. Because self-awareness has a degree of accuracy. You are where you are. This is what it is. And when you include the self-forgiveness, then you can completely be honest with yourself. Because whatever I did, I'm forgiven, so might as well be honest. You feel me? Whatever it is, we good. So why do I gotta fake the funk then? I did this. Or I'm here. So self-awareness defeats overthinking. You ain't gotta overthink. Overthinking is fueled by fear. But when you are able to accept and forgive yourself, what you afraid of? What you afraid of? Nothing. So let's keep the shit 100. Let's keep it 100. So let's go next slide.
It's never a matter of if we will drift. We will. The question is, how long will we drift before we shift?
Shit. Ain't that scary? Ain't that scary? Because I know before this, like, well, shit, I'm not gonna drift. No, we all gonna drift. Mm-hmm. We all drift. Everybody drifts. We all drift. The question is, for you, is if you know you're gonna drift, what tools can you put in place now so when you do, you catch yourself? I think one of the dope tools that I have is I am a proactive sabotager. When times are good, when I'm on my shit, when I'm rocking and rolling, I always make sure I put little landmines in place for myself when I decide to start fucking up. And I'll be like, damn, what the fuck? Why does Boo put this here? I can't get in my thing. Oh, I did that. I don't know the password to this safe. I need to get this money out. I did that to myself because I knew you'd do it. And I knew that you'd be frustrated and only spend 10 minutes looking for it and drift to something else. Because we all gonna drift. We all gonna drift. That's why why I don't drink or smoke. Cause the smoking Courtney and the drinking Courtney, I easily fall victim to shit. Yeah, come on, let's do it. Yep, let's do it. We out, let's do it. You wanna go fucking, let's go. You wake up, how the fuck who said let's do it? You did, it was your idea. I'm a better human being. I don't need, plus, my shadow side is a motherfucker, and I don't need no help from no substance.
That's real.
Without any of that shit, real. My shadow is a motherfucker.
Yeah, it's real.
So I don't need no help from no.
He's like, yeah, Lord.
Come on.
You agreeing from personal?
That's what he said. All right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm just come on. A lot of most entrepreneurs is like that. It ain't nothing new. That's the drive that keeps us going hard. So I don't need no help by no other substances. No. Then that allows me to have clear self-awareness. I'm self-aware. So then it's like, you ever have that one friend who you bring to the club, they get drunk and they do all the ratchetest, freakiest shit, and they was like, I was drunk. But you drunk it though. You put it, don't blame it on the alcohol. You made that decision. I was drunk, I was high. They blame the substance for their behavior. Self-awareness says, I want to be aware of myself at all times so I can give myself the highest probability to make the best decision. I know percentage of the time I'm gonna be fucking up. I'm not gonna help it. So so you gotta understand, it's not an if, it's a when. Now, here's where it gets deep. If you built something, you beyond 100,000. Now you beyond 200,000. You beyond 500,000. You got employees now. People whose livelihood depends on this company doing well, and they got mortgages and families to feed. Now you past million. Now you in the 2 millions, and now you got employees. How serious can you be on this? Because if shit is hinging on you, and you know you gonna drift, you can fuck all your shit up and the livelihoods of a lot of people because you decide you want to do this shit. Mm-hmm. You got a responsibility now. So fast. You can't do that. Life ain't fair. So what? You chose this life. So if I can, so the funny part, me and my girl went to a partner of mine's house. But I haven't kicked it with him in years. So he don't even know this me. He don't even know this me. Soon as I get there, he got a bottle. Hey, what's up? So I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. I don't drink. What they do with Courtney? And my girl's looking like, who is this? Shocked like a motherfucker. So we sitting down talking, and he's telling stories that I don't tell. And she's like, what? You did, because she think I'm a square, like I'm a square, I don't do nothing. So she was like, yeah, Courtney used to always, and I'm like, bruh. It's because once I started Courtsmith and Courtsmith started growing, the response is not about me no more. It's like having children. I gotta sacrifice that shit. Even if I really want to. I gotta find a way to manage it in a way to where it has little to no effect. Don't be telling my secrets, Fern. Fern telling my secrets.
Just real quick. All my friends are my drift police. They don't police me, but I know I can't go to court. He'd catch me if I'm drifting. He'd say, why are you doing that? That's all he needs to say. So a lot of times, because sometimes when you get into drift, your brain will rationalize it, make it sound just as like, it's just a small step. And like him, Brian, Mashama, Pastor Chris, T. Pratt, Dave Max, why are you doing that, bro? Or they even call me like, hey, what did you do this week? They're all policing my drifting, which keeps me on the cue of like, I see myself through them. And so I can't now mind you, I have other friends. I don't hang out with them because I can drift and they will almost support it and literally jump on the boat I'm drifting down on. And so a lot of times, because they don't have any, they're already down there. So to them, they kind of have a space of envy, so they kind of want me to come back down there with them to feel comfortable for where they are. So you have to really when you're playing this responsibility game, you have to engineer your friends to support this drifting process, because if you think it's just like rationality is going to save you, rationality is going to go in favor of the drift if the drift is good to you.
Mm. Real talk. Next slide. Cold. This is cold, ain't it? So remember, it's not if, it's when. It's not if, it's when. So know that. So he said a couple key things without saying it. 2, your association. Who are you kicking it with? Because do they support who you are and who you want to be? Or do you feel a temptation to drift every time you're hanging out with them? If it's the second one, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time, and you're gonna be like Pookie in New Jack City, shaking and crying pushing that crack rock towards your mouth, whatever that crack is for you. So it's real, and this is real life shit. This is real, especially the black folks, because we play such an emotional game that what sucks is if you see somebody build something and it has momentum and it has promise, and then it collapses from drift. You can have drift success. I gotta win, man. You know, gotta celebrate my wins. Big party.
Come on, this is deep.
Big party. Celebrate my wins. When we first came to you, you was Miss Humble, humble. God, thank you for everything. You know, you thank God for everything. Me and God did this. Humble, teach me nothing.
I can't stand him. I can't stand him.
Hey, I don't give a fuck tonight.
I can't stand
Humble, teach me. Business start rolling a little bit. They start flipping their hair off on you. A little cocky. Just a little bit, not a lot, but you notice something. Just a little, the tail whipped and hit you and like, oh shit. Just a little bit, not a lot. 95% humble, but it's a little cocky little whip. And over time, that percentage gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I say, hey, that part of your business is not it. What? Don't talk to me like that.
Fatality.
Do you know who the fuck I am? What? I've been talking to you like this the whole time. That's how you got to this point. But you was humble. But now it's on me.
Come on.
That's drift 2. That's drift 2. If you can't talk to the people like the people who talk to you, that got you, help you get here, if they start, their advice starts rubbing you a certain way because now you feel like you drifted. You fucking drifted and you don't know it. And now you can't be talked to. So you know what happens when you drift? Especially in a jungle of entrepreneurship, all drifting down rivers in a jungle leads to what? A fucking cliff. And you ain't listening. So we like, no. And you said, don't you ever talk to me like that again. But did you know that that's a cliff, right? Damn. And the thing that sucks about what we do here is sometimes I gotta watch it happen.
Yeah.
Damn, and my heart breaks. I got dudes who came here and I watched it happen. And then you gotta go when you see the pieces now, and you see the pieces spattered all throughout, and you're like, fuck. And some of them are still drifted with broken pieces. Hey, come on, let's talk. Let's get you back. No, I'm cool. It's like that. That's how dangerous that drifting game is. When you drifted so much that you still don't know you drifted. Even after the crash, it has to be something else. Fuck your feedback loop. So, I can go on forever with this one. So here's the big question for you. What is your threshold? If we play in this drifting game, and you had the opportunity to put a check and balance in your drift, where would you put it? And here's the crash, and here's right where you start drifting. Where would you want to put it? Fucking right here, right? Boop. Oh, shit. That's the question you got to ask yourself. Where's that? Where's the threshold? The practice game that we practice, here's a dope part about practicing for years. Meditating every day for years, working out every day for years, reading every day for years, doing this. The dope part about that I love is that if I ain't worked out it for a month, I feel like I'm dying. The world is coming to an end because I practiced consistency for so long. A month is crazy to me. To me, a month feels like the other end. If I eat bad for 2 weeks in a row, I feel like the world is coming to an end because I practice being consistent for so long. If I ain't read
Come on now.
for a week, I'm tripping. If I ain't meditated for a week, I'm tripping. So like I'll be like, damn, I fell off. And Eric will be like, you ain't fell off. It's just been 4 days. Shut up. But in my mind, that's the beauty about consistency. That's the beauty about consistency. So in order to gain that threshold, you need consistency. And the payoff for consistency is you naturally have a smaller threshold. Your threshold comes close naturally. And you gotta practice that. It takes years. You gotta practice it. Gotta practice. Like, that pays me back dividends so many times, so much. So much dividends it pays back. Next slide.
Shifting is a master skill. The only way you can shift is to ask yourself better quality, empowering questions.
Cool. So, you drifted, right? You hit your threshold, right? There's no guarantee that when you hit your threshold, the threshold doesn't bump you back on track. Like, oh, you hit the threshold. I'm gonna send you back to the beginning. It's just a marker for you. It's the equivalent of this. When I'm an extremist. I can pretty much say that. When I do something, I do it all the way. I go hard. So when I drunk, I went hard. So you know how I get home sometimes? I call it braille driving. No, when you drift, when you shift to the side of the road, it's these little, and then so that was my right side, and the divider bumps on this side was and I would just go back and forth, and I make it home somehow, some way, right? So it don't guarantee. No, that's real shit. So it does not guarantee. The threshold, so I call those a threshold. That don't guarantee that you're gonna make it. It just gives you a alert, a reminder. A reminder. Hey, you hit. You told me to let you know when you was tripping. You tripping. Now, if you want to press the snooze button on that, you absolutely can and keep drifting. But in order to break free from your drift and get back on the road or where you're supposed to, it comes down to a question. It's a shifting question. So shifting means I shift up out of this drift back on the road of where I'm supposed to go. Back on the road. Boom, I'm back. Man, I was tripping. Whew, shit. Thank God I'm good. Right? It's a shift. Almost like you're in a car and you just shifted gears and now you're back on the road. The way you shift in life is you have to ask empowering questions. Ask yourself empowering questions. Absolutely. So, first off, I'm going to say, can you think of any disempowering questions? Say, let's talk finances. Say you can't stop spending money. Even though you know you fucking up, you shouldn't be spending it. You spend it. What are some disempowering questions that you can ask yourself?
Why don't you just stop? Or why you do that?
Why you do that? Why don't you stop? What's some other ones? You nice to yourself. When I'm asking disempowering questions, give her the mic. No, say it. Say it.
No, mine is kind of foul. I can
Say it.
I call myself out my name and be like, you tripping. It's not much a question, it's more just statements. It's the thought process. So, like, bitch, you tripping.
Right. You know what I say? I say, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's my question. Why are you so stupid? That's my other question. Man, like, why? I do the big why. Not the little why. It's the why. Those are all disempowering questions. Why can't I get my shit together? It's all disempowering questions. So those are questions that you got to break free from to not ask yourself. Leave them out of your vocabulary, because if you forgive yourself, it is what. Now you back to neutral. God forgives. Why can't I? So I'm gonna forgive myself. So we good. So the beating yourself up part with disempowering questions is not the way. The way you do it is you ask better questions. Once you realize, damn, I'm drifting, the one good question is, what can I do? Mm-hmm. What can I do? What can I do? Now, the thing is the other one is, what is the best way to get back on track? How can I get better a little bit? How can I get a little bit better? What's the first step is a good question. But how can I get better? What's one thing I can do today to be better than I was yesterday? Because I ain't gonna lie, if you ever been caught with addictions like me, the ones that are heavy, try quitting tomorrow and just quitting forever the next day. Good luck. Because then what happens is you go through these crashes, up and down crashes, and that starts more depression. So if you're doing some shit 5 times a week, what can I do to make it 4? What can I do to make it 3 this week? What can I do to make it 2? What can I do to make it 1? Man, can I go a week? Just 1 week? Damn, that was dope. 2 weeks. Cool. To where now you're that's all you're doing, and now you're winning. One quick example. I used to have these issues with, right? So I start writing them down. I have 7 or 8 a year. Like fights, parking lot, 24-hour fitness, this, that, the other. Grown ass man. Court, why you got a black eye? Because, I tripped over to so-and-so at work. My wife at the time is like, who still fights? Hey, hey. Who still fights? 30-something. 30-something. He disrespected me. But so you know what I start doing? Instead of beating myself up every time. One time was bad because I fell and hit my head, and I'm a smart guy, and that's like this is my bread and butter. So I didn't even remember like distance and time between here and the hospital and concussion. So I was like, oh man, I better chill because I can't lose this up here. But what I did was I wrote down my incidents, 7 this year. I just need to get to 6. If I get to 5, that's cool next year. And through meditation and practicing, spirituality, all that shit I was practicing, I just have 5. So the 5 that I had, I'm like, it is what it is. But guess what? I'm doing better. Next year, 4. Next year, 3. Now I'm down to 1 a year. I was down to 1 a year for years up until I start this class. You know what helped me to have the 0 was the emotional agility book. That took me to 0. So meditation and spirituality brought me down to 7, but I couldn't shake 1. For years, it was like 2-3 years in a row. And emotional agility was the key, the last key that I needed.
Some years ago, like a couple of years ago in class, we were specifically talking about the finance aspect and of drifting. And I know for me at that time, I couldn't figure out what was my issues, why I couldn't save money the way I wanted to, or why I kept spending the way I wanted to. I remember Nana saying something about I kept like, what are the right questions to ask myself to figure out why was my spending habits the way that they were. And I remember Nana saying something about it being going back to the things that you value, or your self-worth, kind of pointing back to that, like what are the things that you're trying to cope with or hide behind in how you spend your money. I don't know if that sounds familiar, but I'm saying that to say, I'm saying that to say, for a very long time, I didn't know what questions to ask myself in regards to finances. But with that tool, I was like, oh, okay, this is why you're spending this money on this thing, so on and so forth. So.
No, that's dope. So let's tie some shit in, right? Here's some tie-ins. First principle, second order thinking. If you just pull that tool in this particular situation, when it comes to shifting and asking yourself better questions, think about it from a perspective of first principle and second order thinking. I want to spend this money. I want to spend this money. I know. Okay, if you ask yourself, all right, what's the benefit of spending this money? A, I get to enjoy it. I get to buy this thing. I get the social status of having this thing, the feel good of having it in the moment. All right, feel that feeling. Cool. What will I lose by not spending the money? First. Second, what do I lose by not spending the money? Well, I lose the little status I have by not spending it because I won't have the thing. I lose the status. I wanted it, so I'll kind of lose, the feeling of having it. So you have the pleasure and the pain. Now, on the second half of that, what will I lose by spending this money? What's the long-term losses? What's the short-term losses by spending this money? A, another chink in my discipline because I know I'm not supposed to spend it. So I just fucked up. I know I fucked up. Second, a deficit in my bank account when I know I'm supposed to be saving. Third, and you go down the list, and you'll find that the pain way outweighs a little bullshit reason of buying it. Because second order thinking says, damn, my future will be better if I don't spend this money now. That's what I go through mentally almost every time. And then lastly, you can ask, well, what's my benefits if I'm disciplined in the moment? If it's food, I get the body that I want, the health that I want over time. I get to save. I have a savings account, a runway, a nest egg, redundancy. I could buy a house. I could do all those things because this compounds over time to the point where you're like, man, fuck this little thing. It's questions, empowering questions, and that's your shift. You don't even have to say, fuck this thing. Your body would do it for you. Have you ever been disciplined in a moment where you were so strong? Have you ever had a situation where you were so strong for that reason? It's because you was asking yourself empowering questions leading up to it. So, last slide goes back to curiosity. Man, I wonder what it would look like. I wonder what my bank account would look like if I was disciplined for a year. I wonder what my body would look like if I was disciplined for a year and I ate the right things and worked out it. What would that look like? I wonder what my relationships would look like if I showed up for the people that I love. The I wonder, that goes back to curiosity. That's the life changer for you. That childlike curiosity. I wonder. So remember, your shifts come from empowering questions and curiosity. It's possible. All right? That's it.
Did y'all catch that? There's a loop that, I don't know if you guys caught that. Do you realize you can't use empowering questions if you're not present? You won't get a chance to ask the question.
Yeah.
Okay, when you drift, Court is it's a masterpiece, but I'm gonna start doing this because I think sometimes this stuff is missed. Here's a masterpiece. He said, some of you guys make decisions because you live in the future. Some of you guys make decisions because you live in the past. So when the present of the drifting's happening right in front of you, you miss it because you're not you're in the past and the future, right? So you won't be able to ask the empowering questions because you almost, it's like eating, have you ever been like hungry and you're eating the chips and you never thought about, I'm opening this bag of chips and eat these chips if you're trying to lose weight? And then that evening you go, I ate 4 bags of chips, damn. But at the moment you probably was stuck at work, thinking about how hard the day was, or you think about what you got to get done and you're rushing, right? Being present, well, if you're not present, you can't use that tool. So that's why practicing being present, you can't skip that step and fall in love with this empowerment. Because I know that the end of his message was so rich in energy, and the beginning was so subtle, but they're equal. And one without the other is nothing. So I just wanted to bring that cycle back because I think you probably listen to him. Sometimes it's easy to listen to us in modules, but he actually told a complete story and gave you a complete ecosystem of things that work together to produce an outcome, as opposed to, I'm just gonna use this flour and make some eggs, make some cakes, and I'm gonna leave out the eggs and the milk and all the other stuff, right? It's like you have to mix this stuff together to produce the results you want. So empowerment does not work without being present. It's just not, it's not a thing. We're gonna roll hard. Don't you do it. This week, see, this is kind of shit I gotta deal with Court. Court said hella shit, and I was just like, yeah, okay, yeah, you just one. I'm just saying, yeah. All y'all fire, yeah, okay,
It's like they gonna do it anyway.
For those of you who are not here on location, those of you at home listening to this class is a motherfucker. Anyway, so let's. I'm really trying to stay in this space that Court has created, because our brother asked me this week, Nana, how do I scale? And I said, if you don't get this part of the class, that stuff is irrelevant to you. It's absolutely irrelevant. This is the foundational thinking of scaling. There's a couple other things that's foundational. But these principles you're being introduced to, if you don't have control of this stuff, it's like going to the Warriors practice, watching the Warriors play every day, and still they won't pick you up on the team. Because you don't have the foundation, baby. You're not even in shape. What are you talking about? But I know the plays. I know how to crossover. I know how Steph Curry does a certain move. Yeah, but you still can't stop it. So until you actually get a certain foundation underneath you, you're just like a fan to the game. And so this stuff he's teaching you is so foundational. And in the past, we've taken time and slowly built the pillars of the foundation, right? He's now laying out a beautiful picture of the foundation. So in this portion of class moving forward, I'm going to continue to reinforce that, because this layer, there's so much interconnected principles. And when you try to hack it and piece it together and try to turn it into modules and techniques, you miss all this shit. So with that being said, let's roll to that first slide. Hold on, I'm keeping turning around like I need to look at the screen. Okay. So we're still, this is going to continue with some wolf talk. And we're still talking about radical responsibility or self-accountability. Let me be very clear. Complaining, you don't have to read this part. Complaining is not a solution. How many of you guys been to a party with black folks and we talking about what's wrong with the culture? How many hours do we spend complaining? Why is there some people even think they're progressive because they're master complainers? You see advocates in the news all day long complaining as if they're the leaders of the community. And you wonder why shit ain't changing, because somehow our brain looks at complaining because it's insightful. We think it's a solution. But complaining is also the opposite of responsibility. What's wrong with these schools? Have you went down there? What's wrong with my community? Have you got into the community? Complaining is not a solution. I'm gonna roll kind of quick. Next slide. Go ahead, because I'm not gonna get paused on this one.
Facing reality is hard. It's much easier to blame things we have no control over than look for our own contributions.
So that is almost a drift in itself. Now that we didn't have the term drifting. Complaining is a form of drifting. It's drifting from your position of responsibility. And it's so easy to sit around in circles and continuously complain. So if you are a person trying to practice radical responsibility, you'll find that playing the complaining game is very difficult. It's the opposite. And when you're around people who like to complain about what's wrong with black community, what's wrong with this, what's wrong with women, what's wrong with men, look at the whole social justice movement. I can argue that that complaining thing is reversing the problem. Complaining is not a movement. Like the whole social justice movement has been heavily over-leveraged towards complaining, not solutions. You have all these beautiful brains called human, all these beautiful tools called human beings with their brains and their creativity, innovation, and guess what's not working? The creativity, innovation. Why? Because they're complaining. So, you also, one thing about complaining is that even in your own business, like that, there was a story that said this woman was complaining about her employees, and the guy said, "Well, didn't you hire them? Mm-hmm. They're your employees, right? You complain about your kids, they're your kids, right? You complain about the city that you live in. You didn't see this coming before. You don't. Like, what are you doing? What does complaining get? Have you noticed that all these businesses are closing right now in the Bay Area and they're all complaining when they close? All these dudes, because of crime, because of mayor, because of COVID, because of... Bruh, complaining is not a strategy. Stop it. You're using up valuable resources. Your brain, when it complains, it stops being innovative. It stops creating. Next slide.
Too often, we fight against the feedback the world gives us to protect our beliefs.
Slow it again. Run that back one more time, because I don't think they really understand that's important as hell. Read that one more time. Everybody focus in on what she just said.
Too often, we fight against the feedback the world gives us to protect our beliefs.
Reality has nothing to do with your beliefs. This is a really complex one. I can't go, if I went to this alone, this could be a whole class. But evolution doesn't go along with our beliefs. Remember I used to say, it's not gentrification, y'all. It's just evolution. Evolution, it doesn't fall in the, okay. Let me show you how powerful this is. I'm just trying to give you a broader example. You notice how a lot of people are moving in a space of right versus wrong or good versus bad when they make decisions? We're doing this because it's good. We're not doing it because it's bad. We're doing this because it's right. We're not doing this because it's wrong. That's a belief system. In the real world, in evolution, it doesn't give a shit. Matter of fact, if evolution says we all gotta go, we gotta go. Evolution does not give a shit about your beliefs, because the evolution has one goal, which is survive. You as a human being, everything. So when you're running a business in the real world, as it's constantly changing, your beliefs sometimes disconnects you from the reality that's actually happening in front of you. Because you'll say, it shouldn't be like this. No, it is. Why are people acting like this? Because they are. Well, in the past, they used to do this. That's not the future. It's gone. We've all passed that. Like, that's why youth looks so weird to you as older adults. Because you're like, well, when we were younger, guess what? It's called evolution. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's constantly going to keep moving no matter what your beliefs are, no matter what your values, your goals are, because life has one goal, which is to survive. Which is, man, one of these days I'm going to break into the rules of the principles of God. How you can see the power of God in the universe based upon a group of principles. And this is tied to those principles. Trust me, when I break it down, y'all gonna be like, this shit gonna make your nose bleed damn near. It made my nose bleed when I learned it. But it's our brain is not designed to like reality. We're constantly trying to make reality fit our comfort zones and what we expect and stay within our certainty. When life is really uncertain, always changing, and outside of our will. Life wasn't designed for us. We're given the opportunity to participate in life. Finish, keep going.
Rather than changing ourselves, we want the world to change.
Oh, that goes back to what Court just said, adaptability. If you're not adapting and the world's changing, then you fall in a position where now you're complaining because the world just changed on you. The world's gonna go this way whether you like it or not. There's a new generation right now that has a plan that has nothing to do with where you came from. And as that plan shifts, and as you hold on to the way it used to be, guess where you are now? It doesn't mean you can't influence, shift, and impact, but there's a relationship you have to build with the world to have influence on the world. There's leverage points in the world you can tap to have impact in the world. But what you even if you can change the world or you have the ability to impact the world, you cannot do it if you first don't accept this is the world. Once you accept it is what it is, this is what Court, I'm showing you how I'm doubling down on what Court just said. So I don't need to go too long because we kind of hit this already. Go ahead.
And if we don't have the power to change it, we do the only thing we feel we can do, complain.
Black people, because you don't have the power, you feel like you don't have the power, although you do have the power. It says you feel like you don't have the power, although you have the power. So guess what you do all the time? It's almost a dime a dozen for black folks to sit around complaining. You can go anywhere you want, from prison to universities, black people are complaining. From prisons to universities, Latinos are complaining. From prisons to universities, LGBTQ plus are complaining. From prisons to universities, women are complaining. From prisons to universities, white men are complaining. Because you feel like you don't have the power. You always have the power. Go ahead. Oh, there you go. No, Jasadi's eating. He don't want to mess with the microphone.
Do you feel like, from what I'm hearing from what you're saying, do you feel like complaining is just base level satisficing? It's just coming up with this very simplest abstract you can for a reality.
It's absolutely it's there's a certain degree of complaining there's nothing that's absolutely 100% bad, right? It has its place. It's the over leveraging of complaining, which over leveraging complaining is an act of hopelessness, right? And so, because if you feel hopeful, then it's less complaining, because guess what? You're working on something. Yeah. Keep going.
Complaining isn't productive.
As if I didn't say it before. Keep going.
It only misleads you into thinking that the world should function in a way that it doesn't.
Oh. Now think about that. Now think about you running a business. You're trying to run a business. You're trying to make decisions. You're trying to be strategical. Now, I want to be more strategical. I want to be able to navigate this big ship. I want to be able to navigate this complexity. Well, you can't, because you're stuck in your head about the way the world should be. You see the kind of distortion we used to talk about back in the days, that should is a major cognitive distortion? Because as you're saying the world should be this way, then your brain starts to you start to develop friction. That friction can turn into depression, suicide, all kind of shit. Because you just want to accept it. Keep going.
Distancing yourself from reality makes it harder to solve the problems you face.
That's why it's hard as fuck to get me on social media. That's why it's hard as fuck for me to watch a lot of television. Because what I discovered, going back to drifting, this is one of my drifts. If I watch too much television, I start thinking television is real. If I go on social media too long, I start to drift towards the way the world really works as opposed to the way it really does work. See, when you walk down the street and you talk to people every day, you find people are with the shit and people are gods. They're both the same thing. We got both in us. And some of us are walking in God and some of us walking with the shit. And so when you're out there, a person can smile and they can be very, very friendly. You realize, oh shit, they with the shit. But they're smiling and they look good, they smell good, right? They might even be pretty, but they with the shit. And that person you might think is homeless is walking with God. It's that much of a difference. I'm gonna even I'll show you a bigger story. There was this warship they created. It's a master warship. Most technically advanced warship ever created. It's in the book. But you know why the warship failed quite often? It was one of the most failing warships of all time. You know why it failed? Not because of technology, not because of the ship's capability, because the humans on the ship were having problems. I mean, just think about that real quick. So you can build the perfect business, and still, if you don't run it well, it doesn't matter. You can have the perfect house, and if you don't have the right kind of values, it doesn't matter. You get a perfect relationship, and you have the worst choices and rules, it doesn't fucking matter. The image won't save you. Keep rolling.
There is always something you can do today to make the future easier, though. And the moment you stop complaining is the moment you start finding it.
So, go back to this. When you're not taking radical responsibility, you're not taking accountability for everything, you can't see none of this shit. This ain't for you. See, when you're not taking radical responsibility, when I say, no, if Josiah says, no, I have a problem with something you did, and I go, well, what about, or no, I didn't, you see the disconnect from reality? You see how I can't see what I can, decisions I can make? You see how, because I don't have ownership, I'm actually losing control of everything around me. Then I start to feel like I'm a victim because shit feel like it just landed on my lap one day. Like, why the fuck this happened to me? I don't know. It happens in threes. Sometimes it happens on Mondays. You because I'm a Libra. No. It's because you fucking disconnected. So now you blaming every false religious thing in the world. And so the end of the day is like, this shit's that fucking serious. Like, the complaining, even when I'm like, okay, let's say, me and Kaja get in an argument because we probably try to do some business. And then I go home and Shakina happens to be at the house rolling dice with my wife. And, they gangster like that. And I walk in the house and I'm like, oh, fucking Kaja, she did da. Watch this drift. And they'd be like, what'd she do? And I say, oh, she did this. That's why I don't like the bitch. Y'all, come on, we black people, let's keep it real. Ain't no white people in this room. Stop acting like that. So, Scott, I told you, you've been a Dr.
Scott
Logan.
looked up
Scott's
like, word.
And Josh's like, I'm Jewish. I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. But the thing is that that's complaining, y'all. I'm at home complaining about a business deal. So then when it's time for me to move forward, I learned nothing from our engagement. I didn't see the possibilities and find the opportunities, and I suppressed the growth of my business. You see what I just did? I got mad at Kaja, I gossiped with her, I solved nothing. Complaining isn't productive. Next slide.
Each of us is the hero of the story we tell ourselves about ourselves.
Ego, go ahead.
Being at fault when things go wrong doesn't suit the hero status we ascribe to ourselves.
So watch this. So us accepting that we're at fault and we're being the hero is a hard contradiction. If you always call yourself the hero, okay, let me help you out real quick. If a friend or family calls you and you love to go save people even though you don't recognize you're doing it, or you find yourself playing hero roles with other people, it's probably because you have a deep hero brand. So when somebody comes to tell you that you are having fault, watch how hard it is for you to accept it, because how could the hero be at fault? Keep rolling.
So when it comes to explaining why things went wrong, we look for someone else to blame.
Ain't that cold? So if you think you're the hero, you always need. Matter of fact, you can't. Let me show you how a conversation goes with me and the hero. I can tell a hero, you're absolutely wrong, Josiah. And Josiah be like, yeah, you're right, Nana. You know I was wrong. Right? But when Josiah gets home, he can't sit with that. And he'll call me and go, you know what though? I was wrong, but if Kaja would have did what the fuck I asked her though, I'm gonna work on myself and shit, which means you're not. But what I'm gonna do tomorrow, I'm gonna talk to Kaja because I'm letting her know that I can't do business with you because I'm taking control of my life again.
Man.
You did not. You couldn't sit in that space and say, damn, what I need to work on? What I need to practice? What areas have I been fooling myself and telling myself I'm the shit when I'm not the shit? Next slide.
While pointing fingers when we don't get the results we want might satisfy us in the moment, it doesn't give us better judgment, and it doesn't make us better people.
Mm-hmm.
It's instead a defensive reaction prompted by our ego default, a reaction that keeps us nestled in the arms of weakness and fragility.
You remember I always told you I hate talking to people about relationships? Let's say Court came to me like, yeah, my woman's tripping. First of all, that's totally fabricated because trust me, if Court came to me, he'll say, yo, we had this problem. If he was, Court's he is that dude. It's like, if he does that, it's some shit. But let's say Court came to me and say, hell, I'm having some problems with the house. Court's gonna say, yo, let's reflect on what I could have did different. What you guys want to say is, let me tell you what they did, and you start to run off your list, right? You are playing the fragile game. You're playing the fragile game. Like when I'm having a problem, like even when I have a problem with people, I'm like, what could I have done different? What is the situation? What's the evaluation? Now, it doesn't mean that you can't reflect on somebody. You're like, that's interesting. Because sometimes you could learn, for example, you take a homeless person, bring them in your house and feed them, and then you go to the restroom, you come back and your house is missing some stuff, right? And you go, that was on me for bringing them in the house, but damn, isn't it crazy how a human being can't receive support when they need it the most? So it's worth reflection as opposed to complaining. Two different things. So as you continue to point fingers at other people, even if you keep talking about how all your friends ain't shit, I'm going to ask you, why did you choose them? They're still your friends. If your friend always burns you, that means you're letting that person exist in your life to burn you. If your employees are robbing you, why haven't you fired them motherfuckers yet? I'm keeping it 100. Like all your complaints, once you take radical responsibility, you can start seeing how much control you actually have. But if you're not on radical responsibility, you'll feel like a victim from so many different. And then when the victimization compounds on top, like all these things come from a different angle, it can psychologically break you. But the situation didn't break you; your perception broke you. Next one, keep going.
That's a fire.
When you constantly blame circumstances, the environment, or other people, you are effectively claiming that you had little ability to affect the outcome.
This is why I hate the woman talk. This is what I was talking about the other day. Oh, men. Oh, my God. Society. Oh, men. Women, you are killing yourself. You're fucking killing yourself. Men ain't superheroes. Trust me. Every man in this room will tell you a woman can make us all collapse. I'm talking about stop in our... I was at an event. I was at a Latino big event in San Francisco. Senators are there, mayors are there. I don't speak Spanish, so it's hella funny because every time they spoke Spanish, I just had to wait for everybody to laugh, and I would laugh with them because I don't know what they were saying. So it was the best thing ever. I'm at a table full of Spanish women, Latino women, and they just laughing like, oh, y'all so crazy. I don't know what y'all said. But it was dope. So the senator who was head of the organization has changed the name, but it used to be called La Raza. So for those of you who have heard, powerful civil rights organization. My whole life I've heard about them. Always had high respect. Well, the head of the organization, which is this woman, came into the room. So she gets on the microphone. She starts to speak, and people are chattering in the background. And she stops. She goes, "Excuse me, I'm only going to be here for a short amount of time. I came all the way from Washington D.C. I need absolute silence when I speak. And once I'm done, you guys can have all the fun and all the conversations you want." That room went to absolute silence. I even went, and I wasn't even speaking. I was like, right? Alpha female. My masculinity didn't have no fucking defense for that. If I was talking, I would have shut the fuck up on the drop. Because when she showed up with her power, I humbled. And I'm a very aggressive male. But a lot of times, women you will never find. Watch yourself. A lot of times you will never discover your power because you're too busy complaining about the power you think you don't have because of somebody's taking it away from you when it's really yours to give. Men cannot stop you, woman. LGBTQ plus, straight people can't stop you. You look at the soldiers that came in the 90s and 80s and 70s. Them were some soldiers. They was mowing down obstacles every they turn. Latino folks, ain't nobody stopping y'all like that. But most of y'all are being stopped by the mindset you're taking on behind social justice. That complaining, oh my God, it's messed up. I don't have the ability. You act like you don't have the ability to change any of this shit. Instead of you sitting around complaining and canceling and having, and I was offended when this person, when Dave Chappelle, and when this person said, stop, shut the fuck up, and organize and build some shit. That's reality. Because reality doesn't give a fuck about none of our complaints. Doesn't give a fuck about my complaints. None of ours. Reality, if everybody in this room died right now, reality says, oh, okay, well, shit. Bye-bye. Next. But your ego tells you, no. If I die, reality is like, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh. No, doesn't give up. Next, keep reading.
But that's not what actually happened. The truth is that we make repeated choices in life that become habits.
Come on now.
Those habits determine our path, and those paths determine our outcomes.
Drifting. You see how we just did it? We just call it drifting. We make repeated decisions that becomes our outcomes, drifting. We have individual drifts and we have cultural drifts. We have national drifts. But a lot of times we read history, nobody talks about drifting. It's sensational to talk about what they did to you. It doesn't talk about what drifts and missed opportunities that we missed. Who did take advantage of those opportunities? There was a lot of black folks who performed since slavery in this country that we don't even know about because they're not written about. There's brothers who said, kill somebody in my neighborhood and see what I'm going to do. There's cats who drew down on the KKK and said, get back in your cars and take your ass home. No, they don't tell you that. So you get sensationalized by these binary conversations of wins and losses, and you don't see drifts. And drifts are so hard to see. Okay, watch this. When you're working out, what's the benefits of working out? Real quick. Throw them out real quick. Benefits of working out.
Mental health.
Just how you don't know anything about this. Come on, everybody else. just play. No, decide. Go ahead. Just like, I don't know what the fuck happens. But the rest of y'all, come on.
Self-esteem.
Okay, now, here's a fucked up part where the brain doesn't think about. What have you avoided? See, I think our brain gets so hungry on the benefits, we don't see the value of what we avoided. Heart disease, illnesses. My doctor even said, she's like, yo, you're doing really good. I think you should add a little bit more fiber. And I want you to drop 10 more pounds because it's going to increase the amount of times, it's going to decrease the amount of times you get sick. Just by dropping weight, you get sick less. Not because viruses are all around you. Oh my God, I got to wear a mask. It's because your system gets weaker by the less you take care of yourself. Your ability just to walk. You don't forgot that walking is a gift. Stop working out. Let your friend say, we're going to walk over here and it equals 1.5 miles. And watch how you be in the middle of the country looking for Uber. You don't realize how much there's relationships you won't even have. There is psychological weight from pain that comes from neglect that steals from your thinking capabilities. That you don't know about, you don't forget about this because you work out. And what I'm saying is that's how the brain has a tendency to focus on the highlights and not see the full 360 degrees of picture. Keep going.
When we explain away those unwanted outcomes, we absolve ourselves of any responsibility for producing them.
So you see what happens. So in drifting, if I come to you and say, hey, Kaja, you missed a day at the gym. What happened? What is it? I'm like, that's not acceptable. But see, what happened was, as you start to explain it away, you're starting to bake in that drift. Go ahead, Kaja.
I felt like I had like a hope milestone this past week because someone told me I was a terrible person to vent to.
To tell a person what?
To vent to.
Yeah.
Because they were venting to me and I started throwing up radical responsibility. And when they said that, I felt bad a little bit because I remember when I first started coming, how it would feel when people who had been here for a while would start doing that to me. Right? It's like, okay, well, you're not really interested in hearing what I have to say. You want to just throw a bunch of solutions. So how do you, because everyone you deal with or do business with or collaborate with is not in here getting the benefit of this message. So you can seem to be the asshole. So how do you leverage this without alienating people who either aren't there yet or just don't have exposure to this?
Questions asked all the time. First thing is first, you're going to become the asshole. Because even when you try to do your best, it's going to be somewhere where somebody will it's just going to be something. You didn't respond the way everybody else would respond. Everybody be like, oh my God. You'd be like, eh. Or everybody be like, oh, I'm so sad. You'd be like, hey, come on, y'all, let's keep moving. Right? So, and by the way, I'm going to give you the answer to that, but I'm going to show you some power in her question. I pause and I pick and choose who I talk to. This is the language of building. This is not the language of idling or the language of the labor class. Labor class, okay, so imagine being in an office and you have a business partner. And like, okay, Shakina, I need to talk to you about some stuff and I don't want to hurt your feelings and I need to talk to you about something that's very important and hopefully this is a good time for you and hopefully you receive me well. And as a her, I just want to say, as a he, can we get new garbage cans? Who the fuck want to work with that person? In business, I need to be able to say, did you get some new garbage cans or not? And you got to be able to get past all that sensitive, emotional hierarchy, and get to like, yes, no, and keep moving. Because we're in business, right? This is the language of business, and we got to move. In the public, they got all this clogging language. You know, like, oh, don't offend me. You said it the wrong way. Don't come at me at a certain time. I'm sensitive about this. I don't like when a man talk to me. I don't like when a woman talk to me. Who the fuck are you? Do you know I'm a boss? All this trash that we use to slow down production. Our community is over flooded with that and it shows where we are as a culture. But at some point, if you want to become a building culture, you got to tear down a lot of that sensitivity shit, get out the room because we ain't got time for it. We got to move. We got to measure each other by different things. And here's the thing about business. You got to do the work and I got to do the work. So we can get rid of that clogged space of communication. Going back to what he talked about communication. Communication doesn't work because we clog this space with too much trash. It doesn't, all that shit don't matter. Like, it's different if I call Shakina, like, listen here, little honey. Now that's disrespectful. But I need to do the work to know that I don't call her little honey. Right? I got to see the value of her as a powerful woman. And if she's my business partner, you know, the closest thing to marriage is a business partner. It's the closest thing to marriage. And if you can't see value in the person you're collaborating with, then the question comes down to what's going on with you? You see where I'm going with this? And so at the end of the day, it's like, I got to do the work. She got to do the work so we can move quickly. Even when me and Mashama get in a heated argument, there's still respect in that argument. There's lines, there's a margin of where we won't go outside of. I've never called Mashama or even thought or even felt at any moment Mashama was dumb. I might thought, how come he doesn't see this? But never would I say, that's stupid of you, bro. Fuck with you, what's wrong with you with your dumb ass? That just doesn't work in communication. We got to move. So how we talk in this radical responsibility is necessary for us to have fast, healthy communication, and it's so we can build. But if we're getting stuck in all this other stuff, then it just doesn't translate. Roll.
There's a word for people who always respond to problems by blaming others or circumstances. Victims.
Oops. They call what?
Victims.
Oops. I think that's what. So all this victim. You know, as black people, we're victims. As women, we're victims. As in the gay community, we're victims. Latinos, we're victims. White poor men, we're victims. Latinos, you know, we're victims. Keep going.
Of course, they're often not actually victims.
Uh-oh.
They just feel like they are. And that feeling gets in the way of good judgment. Chronic victims feel helpless, powerless, and often hopeless. Nothing is ever their fault. It is always someone or something else that got in the way. No one begins life wanting to be a chronic victim, but the slow accumulation of responses that avoid responsibility makes it hard for people to see that's what they're becoming. Eventually, it's just who they are.
That's a drift. This is how you drift out of your leadership role. You start playing around the victim culture. So you've been in a room and somebody come in, they're like the Angela Davis of victim talk. Not Angela Davis, the sister who died, the very famous poet.
Maya Angelou?
Maya Angelou. She did Maya Angelou of victim talk. And they come in like, as our souls sit here, brothers and sisters, it's been trampled by the man who never cared about where we stood. And today, as we stand here trying to protect our neighborhood, who's coming for us? We stand here as people who deserve better. And we should sit here and tell them, we shall not be moved. And you start feeling like, oh yeah, huh? And before you know it.
Wait, time out. The fact that you just freestyled that is scary. That's scary as fuck. I ain't gonna lie.
And then you hear some people go, Ashe, yeah. And before you know it, you slowly but surely, right? Or your wife comes home from work, or your man comes home from work. You know, at the job, they won't be giving a black man no chance. I've done every fucking thing I can. They won't promote me or anything like that. He don't tell you, the motherfucker always late. He don't tell you, motherfucker always gets a C in everything they ever ask him to do, right? He don't tell you that he ain't never read one motherfucking book since he's been there. But in the end, he sits there and he talks this victim talk, and then you don't know any better, and then you start believing like, you know, you go see your girlfriend next day, yeah, you know, my husband, he's doing the best he can, but, you know, they just victimize him at work. And she's like, yeah, you know, it's hard out here for black men. You see how you slowly but surely losing power? You're drifting out of your position of power. And then you have the nerves to say, as black people, we're such powerful, great people. I just need to boost myself up because I feel so weak. This is a game being played every fucking day in our community. Now you guys can see what I used to say, I fucking hate social justice. It's a cold, fucking, slow, drifting game that puts you in the driver's seat of weakness. Next slide.
There are points in the process of becoming a chronic victim when people realize they're lying to themselves.
Wait a minute. Say that, read that. That shit's so cold. Read that one more time.
There are points in the process of becoming a chronic victim.
The key word is chronic victim, y'all. Why? Go ahead.
When people realize they're lying to themselves.
So you start believing in all the obstacles that you believe that the super god of white supremacy that you've never seen manifests itself in your block in East Oakland and Sobrante Park. And then you realize, wait a minute, he's not even fucking here. Keep going.
They realize the story they're telling themselves isn't quite true.
Keep going.
There are points in the process of becoming a chronic victim when people realize they're lying to themselves.
Keep going.
They realize the story they're telling themselves isn't quite true. They know they're responsible, but facing reality and taking responsibility is hard.
What's wrong with these schools? What's wrong with our city? What's wrong with our kids? What's wrong with black men? What's wrong with black women? Like I told Shabisha, I ain't seen a black man yet birth kids. So if y'all don't like black men, re-engineer us. But if you keep blaming us, what the fuck are you doing? You're the number one teacher of all society. All teaching comes through women. If y'all sat down and talked about how great y'all are and just started to analyze your contribution to life itself, you wouldn't worry about what the fuck men are doing. You realize how great the fuck you are. But a lot of times you don't even see it anymore because it feels better to call men ain't shit than to focus on what you can do and how much power you really have. My mama was a bad Just talking
Shut
about
your
my mama.
mouth.
You know what I'm saying? She's a bad woman, and that woman showed me some power moves I've blown over. My daughter's named Nzinga Ada Inti, Nzinga after the Queen of Angola, one of the baddest women, baddest warriors history's ever known. Queen Ya Santiwa said, "Y'all men too soft, so we going to war." And the man's like, "Okay, I can't let you embarrass us. We gotta go with you then." Right? And yet you listen to these soft, liberal religious women tell you what the fuck you can't do. Keep rolling.
It's uncomfortable. It's so much easier to hide and to blame other people, circumstances, or luck.
Wait. It says, wait. It's so, wait, read that part because maybe I'll miss. Let me adjust my glasses. It says, so much easier to hide and blame. Let me see, what's that word? Other people, our circumstances, our luck? Oh my God. Can y'all see the crisis we're going through? Can you see the crisis? It's like, you want to see the poor stay poor and the rich stay rich? Keep writing down that complaining and victim shit. There's no such thing as absolute power by any particular human group in the world. It's impossible. There's no such thing as the largest number wins. It's not possible. Ask Afghanistan. How many people that Afghanistan ran them the fuck up out of Afghanistan? You get the fuck about. Vietnam, get the fuck up out of here, bro. There's many stories of small nations telling people, you got to get the fuck up out of here, bro. Like, you guys are missing this conversation. Shout out to my Jewish folks. Small ass group. They ain't listen to that shit. Jews is like, yo, we about to grow. We know one thing, we will grow. And, I'm not, they're going through some shit. And so same thing with folks in Gaza, going through some shit. So respect to both groups, and I'm not trying to get that politics. All I'm saying is that a lot of times we buy these stories, we tell ourselves of what we can't do. And the reason we're in the position we're in, because we over leverage this complaining shit, which is giving up our responsibility for our own lives. Next, keep rolling. And luck and circumstances killing me. Keep going. Next slide.
Ironically, the people who care the most about chronic victims often unintentionally encourage their blame game. Man, what the
That's the first
fuck?
time. It's the first time she read it, just took off on me. Go ahead, Shamish, go ahead.
Man.
And some of y'all go out and build a whole circle of chronic victim friends. You got a whole circle of friends. Yeah, girl. Yeah. And guess what? And even if you don't have friends, some of y'all just go to chronic victim websites. You guys have chronic victim emails. JustTryingToSurvive.com. What the fuck is wrong? You guys can't complain like old man.
I just read one of the longest studies on entrepreneurship in the U.S. It's 34 years. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that it said was that when it comes to programs or mentorship, whether it's individual or a program, that the expectations of the program or the expectations of the mentor the research is showing that it has a direct effect on the outcome.
Absolutely.
Of the persistence of the entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
34 years, biggest study on entrepreneurship. Crazy.
Absolutely.
But so this point of people coming out of programs or getting with certain mentors or getting with certain people who are full of shit, and then they walk into spaces and they kind of have their head turned low. So they didn't start out that way though. They started out like, oh, I'm gonna give it a try, and then a year later, it's like, what the fuck happened to you? Oh, you suddenly are carrying all this additional weight of all these narratives that you didn't have. You picked that shit up along the way, but because it's trust, you feel like, oh, well, they must be telling me something wrong. That shit is trash. That shit is trash. Sorry, I feel away.
No, look here.
Sorry,
So your friends drive this blame
my
game.
bad.
Keep reading. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm trying to get myself together.
I lost my reading for a minute. She's like a Holy Ghost minute. But keep going, because
Okay.
I don't need to add to what she said. I totally agree. Keep going.
Okay. When things
Now watch this, y'all. This is important.
when things don't go our way,
When things don't go our way, now pay attention. You have to really focus in on this. Keep going.
it's natural to vent to family members or close friends.
Cool.
They're loving and supportive and have the best intentions for us.
Yes.
They would love to validate our interpretation of the situation and offer us relief. But when they do that, nothing has changed.
Stopped. All that complaining you do and everybody give you that relief, you still broke. You still suffering. You still lonely. You still holding a pillow by yourself at night. You still overweight. You still got cavities. You know what I'm saying? like, but this is real talk. Like a lot of people are not. Think about it, if you go to the hood or you go amongst poor communities, you'll see, and a lot of people in this room, they complain so fucking much they don't realize none of this shit has changed. After all that talk, keep going.
Our incorrect view of the world remains intact.
Our incorrect, the key word is our incorrect view, because right now most of you are not getting what you want because your view of the world is it's not intact. It's the incorrect view of the world. That's why you're not getting what you want. But it stays intact as you go through this process. So in the end, you can live 20, 30 years of a fucked up life just going through this cycle over and over and over. And you find people who are loving and they support you and they make you feel good and they're warm and fuzzy. And then Nana comes along and guess what? Who we are? We're the assholes. Right? We're the assholes. But you don't realize we're not really the assholes. We're just the disruptors of the world that you built in your head, and all we're saying is, this is the real world. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not making this shit up. I'm telling you right now, if you jump off that cliff, there is no ocean there, bruh. But in your brain, you're like, no, but I heard my partner, he jumped and he was flying. Okay, fuck it, dude, jump, fuck it. You're just another one we can get rid of. Just go jump. Keep going.
They don't encourage us to reevaluate our patterns of thinking.
So watch that. Now imagine, have you ever came to me before? Anybody ever came to me before with a problem? Don't I do this all the time? Let's reevaluate your way of thinking. I don't say, oh no, it's not wrong. No, you know what? You deserve love. You know, you're a rich soul. You're God-fearing soul. You love your kids. I know who you are. Right? Y'all know the fuck. I ain't never. Let's go. I'm creating transparency here of a healthy way of being that I didn't make the game made me. Go ahead.
They don't encourage us to reevaluate our patterns of thinking, feeling, and acting. And if we're thrust into similar circumstances later on, we'll likely respond the same way.
The what kind of way?
The same way.
The same way? So that means you're doing the same stupid shit over and over and over again, expecting different results. And it's so invisible to you because you've been drifting this whole fucking time and you're stuck in a drifting loop. And you think you climbing, even though you put hella hard work in, you sweat and tears, you made hella sacrifices, you spent hella money, you lost hella shit, and you think I deserve more. But the reason your output doesn't, your input doesn't match your output is because your reality is so distorted that by the time it goes to the system, you back at A again. I want you guys to see how cold this shit is. How not taking radical responsibility is so fucking deep. And you blaming, you complaining, you becoming a victim, you thinking, I'm being attacked. Oh, the other day I didn't feel safe, you were attacking me. What the fuck is that? Okay, safe to me meant, okay, somebody's shooting on my block. It's not safe to go outside. Earthquake just happened, wires are down, it's not safe. The water is compromised, it's not safe to drink. You telling me the truth has now become an issue of fucking safety? Like, come on, people. You're getting too fucking soft. And when I say you're getting soft, I really mean this shit. You're getting too fucking soft. You were trying to play this game of life, and life don't give a fuck. Life kills Bambi. Straight the fuck up.
Oh my God.
That's what it's just. That's the reality you have to accept. Like life does. You think because you're a beautiful person, life has built a special path for you. You got to understand the ground you walk on and the terrain that's in front of you, and then dress accordingly and develop yourself accordingly to take on the challenge. Otherwise, you will always be at the base of the hill. Stop blaming the hill. The hill has been, there's every generation before you climbed the same fucking hill, and here you come talking about, well, what about people with asthma? You don't get your asthmatic ass up there. It's wolf time, y'all. I'm sorry. I told you, check in. It's wolf time. Ain't no goddamn dog time. Okay, where we at?
We're done.
Did you finish that one?
Yeah.
Next slide.
On the other hand, have you ever had a friend tell you, you messed up pretty bad there. How can I help you make this right? Or, let me tell you the one thing I think is holding you back from getting the results you want.
Y'all ever had a friend like that? Keep rolling.
What?
Now keep rolling.
That's not, you crazy.
Now, this is important. Folks, I'm telling you right now, this week, this is what you should do.
If you have a friend like that, call them now and thank them. Their presence in your life is a rare gift. Cherish it.
Thank you, Nana.
Don't do that. I want you, but seriously, I want you guys, this is why your mentors will leave you, because they know they're a gift. They don't, imagine you go shopping. Let's imagine you had a hard week at work, and you took some regular losses, but you had $300 left. And you promised your friend you're gonna buy them a gift on their birthday. And you go out and you spend $200, and you say you go to San Francisco, you get caught in traffic, your feet hurt, you get back home, you wrap it up, you go to bed late, you have to get up early, you're tired as hell, you get to the party, you're smiling, you pull the gift out the bag, and the person goes, I don't want that shit. That's how mentors feel when they try to approach you, and you come up with all these feedback blocks. After a while, they're like, I don't get this motherfucker gift. I'm not going to San Francisco. I'm not doing shit for them. The only gift I'm going to give them is whatever the fuck they pick up in my presence. See the difference? This is powerful shit. Let's keep rolling.
No successful person wants to work with a chronic victim.
Court, I think they said no successful person wants to work with a chronic victim. All you social motherfuckers, social justice motherfucker, 510 media is not hiring. We are full. We're overemployed. I don't give a fuck if I gotta looking for new employees. I'm not looking for you. My friend, guess what? I got too many friends. And if you're pretty, you ain't that pretty. A chronic victim is the hardest motherfucker in the world to do anything with. They are drift queens and kings. Oh, and boy, when you see them coming, they got all the little victim clothing on, the victim looking faces, the victim bodies, the victim haircuts. They just walk in the room like, here comes this victim-based motherfucker now. Y'all know the fuck I'm talking about. Don't quit playing. Y'all know when they walk in the room, you're like, oh, here they go. No, sisters, Nana's up there he's being toxic masculinity right now because his voice is too deep. If he wants to speak to me, he has to figure out what is my code of communication. You special motherfucker. Motherfucker got to figure out, motherfucker got to be a locksmith just to talk to you. Everybody has a different code. No, because when you said this at this time and you used this phrase and you didn't say it this way, I can't receive that from you. Sit your victim ass down. Roll on.
The only people who want to work with victims.
Oh, next slide. Next one. Oh, you finish that slide?
No.
Okay, yeah, okay.
The only people who want to work with victims are other victims.
You see how the victim organizations, they just get together? They just be sitting around having victim dialogue. They argue all the time, too. They can't get shit done. And if money comes in that room, oh, my God, anybody that don't get paid equal to everybody else is a victim. Even they ain't did shit. I feel like I should get just as much as you did because I was here the first day too. Motherfucker, you've been asleep every day. I don't care, but I thought about it too. Keep rolling.
If you pay attention to chronic victims, you'll notice how fragile they are.
Wait a minute. Have y'all, okay, I'm gonna just say it, because fuck it, you know, how you gonna cancel me? I'm black. How much further I need to go? Shit. Like, what we gonna do? Oh, we ain't fucking with you. That's new. So let me just keep, I'm gonna pull my black card out right now. Y'all know what they look like, right? Like, chronic victim people are fragile. Have y'all noticed how they stand? They stand soft. They look fragile. They look like if you just... They just look horrible. Look, I can go into a room. My daughter's at a school, St. Paul's. I don't give a fuck. They came with me. And I called the school because school's weak. And the sister came to me, dope sister. She's like, yo, her name was Tana. I'm Nana, she's Tana.
Uh-huh.
And she said, what you like about the school? And I said, I like when my daughter's getting out to school. This school's doing a good job. I don't like these people, though. I'm at a festival. She said, yeah, I can see. I said, because these people are hella weak. And this is not the real world. They're all soft. They're all, like when men walk by other men like, oh, excuse me. Who does this as a man? Who the fuck does that?
Aladdin.
You was like, yes, like, you're not Aladdin. Excuse me, sir. What the fuck is that? And how you doing? What the fuck? Who raises their elbow like this? Motherfucker.
What is that?
Right?
Is that a thing?
Like they speak softly and laugh at terrible jokes. No, it is sunny. Fuck wrong with you? And what are those shoes you got on your fucking feet? Where are you gonna walk? Like, I saw this one day, I was like, who the fuck dressed you in that outfit? Like, did you go to Soft R Us? What the fuck, how do you find clothes so soft? You say, no, why does the kind of man be soft? Because guess what? There's a game called protection. As Israel, that shit's real. Okay, for those of you who have a mate, walk down the street at nighttime. Somebody needs to be strong. just keep it real. I don't give a fuck if you're in Walnut Creek, especially if you're black. Somebody needs to be strong. And if the man, if you go to the food thing on Saturday in downtown by Farmers Market by Grand Lake Theater, the women are more dominant than the men. You don't believe me? Go get some fruit. Walk around. Those men, when the car gets busted in, here they go. Camera. Did you see that? You get a picture of him? Get a picture of him, Joe? Joe, yeah, I did. I got a picture of him. Shh, put the camera in. He might see me. No, I don't want no funk. I don't want no problems. Now, the guy at Piedmont, there was a white dude at Piedmont, I fucks with him. He has a martial arts school. Dude ran up on this dude with a Bentley to rob the car. Dude came out with his sticks. Bow, bow. From the martial arts school. That's what men should do. And guess what the other men did? They took the fuck off. Yeah, she was the news. I want you to understand, like, there's a balance in society. Like, you might think when you're in the office and everybody's just touching their computer, you might understand masculinity. What do we need masculinity for? Right? But once you go outside and that other man's like, I'm with the shit, you need the other man to be like, keep it moving, bro. I have a daughter. You know how many women has been molested in my lifetime? Let's say out of all the women I ever met, maybe 98% raped or molested. You know the ones that do, you know where the percentage drops a lot? When strong men are in the presence. Who said to other men, I'll kill you. You touch my daughter. So let's not get into, stay close to reality. Stop watching fucking TV where everybody's just, at the end of 30 minutes, all problems are solved and everybody just get along. We're friends. No, this shit's real.
Hey, my daughter's mom, we're not together, but every time she gets a boyfriend, I have a little talk with him. Hey man, I'm super happy y'all together. That's dope. Relationship's dope. But there's some unspeakable things I'll do for my daughter. And they always change the subject. Oh, well, look at the sun. I'm like, no, it's good. but there's some unspeakable shit I'll do for my daughter. So you have a nice day.
That's man shit.
Because we have to, and we can't allow the drift of society to change the true masculinity of what men are supposed to do. You can't. Because what's popular today is going to be unpopular tomorrow. And that gets time stamped. So they're like, look at you. When the social justice things was going, you was running around with a dashiki on and some flip flops. And like, no, I wasn't. I was still masculine. Like, no, we saw you. So masculinity is necessary, and you just sometimes have to wait it out. You have to wait it out till the tides change.
And I think once women also, in my compliment, once women realize how much power y'all have and how much y'all shift things in society, especially when y'all decide to say, we all flex y'all muscles, very, very powerful, then you see the perfect complement we have. We do support each other in the most amazing ways, right? And I'm not saying everybody needs to be gangster and everybody needs to be whatever. I'm saying the victim weakness. There's some people who are softer. I know some alpha males who are soft as hell. They're alpha males. They're strong as hell, but they ain't gonna roar as shit. They ain't wanna fight nobody. If they think funk's about to happen, somehow they came up missing, right? But the motherfuckers can build like nobody else, right? I know some women who are hella masculine as hell, but that woman is the go-to woman for everybody in that motherfucking neighborhood. So we're not talking about everybody needs to fit a perfect profile. Don't shrink what the fuck I'm saying. I'm saying the victim tone that creates a fragility that makes it when you show up, you're out of place. You're not walking in your true strength. And all of us have strengths that some of us never got a chance to mature into because we've never taken radical responsibility. Radical responsibility is almost like a rites of passage. It turns on a part of you that you didn't know existed. When you take on responsibility for everything, if you say, I'm the mother of this block, watch how you change everything. That responsibility, it brings things out of you didn't even know existed. But if you just go home and go to work every day and get on your computer and complain, you're fragile.
Hey, can I throw in one more thing?
Go ahead, brother. This shit, yeah.
Hey, so, you know when I read that, it reminds me of
What's that?
is the epidemic also we have of young black males. They almost look just like them. They just take action in unhealthy ways. So they still have the same victim mentality. They still blame. They still associate with other victims. But then when they get angry, they lash out, and that's where the violence is happening.
That's why they kill so fast.
Difference.
The fragility is why they kill so fast. Yeah. Like part of masculine maturity is you learn how to deal with conflict and don't take it past a certain point, right? That's why when in school, when they over coddle and don't let these boys build a healthy relationship with victims, with our masculinity, then when something happens subtle, we ready to shoot everybody. Like, the basketball player who shot up somebody's car. You shooting up somebody's car is not masculine. That's not what we do as men. But if we're fragile and we think we're a victim, we can go places that is so dangerous for us. And now, if you want to call that toxic masculinity, if we're in a victim space and we're roaring, that's toxic. But you also have toxic femininity from being a victim. Because the way you show up to your womanhood, you're not truly showing it to the power it has. You're almost doing it you're almost devaluing it. So we both are devaluing our femininity and masculinity, and so responsibility helps us grow into who we are as people. But as long as you fall beneath that, you won't even sense your responsibilities. You just won't sense your responsibilities. We finish this slide? Oh, keep going.
How dependent their attitudes and feelings are on things they don't control.
Ooh. Where we at? Wait. How dependent? Go back to the beginning of that sentence.
If you pay attention to chronic victims, you'll notice how fragile they are, how dependent their attitudes and feelings are on things they don't control.
Keep going.
When things don't go their way, they're happy. When things go their way.
Well, watch this. This is cold. Now watch this chronic, because I'm going to show you the victim, how some of you guys have played the chronic victim but didn't know you were doing it. When things go your way, you're what?
Happy.
Okay, keep going.
When things don't, they're defensive, passive-aggressive, and occasionally aggressive-aggressive.
That's what Court just talked about. So when things are going their way, everyone knows this was black folks, a lot of black folks. When things are going our way, we're all loving and peaceful and happy. When things ain't going our way, have you watched black folks? We're defensive, got an attitude, I wish a motherfucker would type tones, right?
fucking hate this place. That's why I don't even fuck with people like this. This is that same stuff. This is that victim, the other side of being. I'm trying to explain to you how the victim is seeped into so many people in Hope class right now. This is what made me pivot. I'm like, y'all talking this victim shit too much. It's like crushing my thinking. You know what they did to me? This is why we focus. And then you start naming, labeling people. Oh yeah, he's one of them suckers. He's one of these marks. He's one of this. He's weak. He's this. Like you go from social justice labels to the negative labels. It's the same shit. Go ahead, Shamika.
You know, I'm realizing I used to have this thing where I would say I didn't like being angry. And I said, like, I don't know, a year ago, I started welcoming that. But what I'm realizing now is that I was just bottling or brooding my victim tone talk.
There you go. Come on now. That's so powerful.
I was like, oh, that wasn't anger at all. I really don't have I'm developing a relationship with anger, but really what I was familiar with and what I was wanting not to do is act out from a space of like, I was just bottling it because I definitely felt it, which is why like I can't be around you because you're making me feel this way, and I can't do this because you're making me do this way. So, but
No such thing.
but a lot of our memes or a lot of those things, I'm like, oh shit, that wasn't anger at all. That was victim. And now that I see it in myself, I'm seeing it
Surrendering.
in so many other things. I'm like, okay. Update the data.
You literally surrender your power. Like this power that you have, you surrender numerous. When you have those kind of conversations, even as a group, you're surrendering so much power, not realizing the power. Did I tell you that when a senator asked everybody to silence themselves, there were more millionaires in that room than you probably ever seen in your whole human life? There were more males in that room than you probably ever seen in that life, and everybody came to instant silence because an alpha woman spoke. Y'all have that same power, and you never will explore it because you keep talking this low level type of dialogue, this low frequency communication. You got to grow into that. That woman, it's the way. It wasn't that she was a senator. I heard a senator speaking. I'd be like, man, fuck that dude, right? It's the way she spoke with this. It's hard to explain because it's a woman thing, right? But it's like the mother, but the God. It combined, and when they speak, you're like, "Oh shit, what did I do?" She brings out she brought the soul, the innocent soul of who I was, and made me humble myself. All of my machismo, all of my force, all of my wisdom was subdued that fast, and I was blown away. I was like, "Wow, this is powerful." And I looked around, like all of us are subdued, and I ain't never seen this lady day of my life. It was how she can position herself, her presence, all the work she did before that day, that when she opened her mouth that day, the work revealed itself to me and said, Nana, shut the fuck up, sit down. And it was like I don't get in trouble. Nobody even know where the fuck I was. Client, I still haven't shaken the hand of the client. They know my Shama. So I could have been like, man, fuck you, ain't gonna tell me nothing. Which I wouldn't have done anything like that. But I'm saying I could have did that, and I would have got no trouble, lost no money, right? But her power was so powerful. That's what a lot of you guys are missing because you guys are having the victim dialogue, and it's wasting fucking time. It's a sick. And some of you, before it was a victim, let me tell you what happened before this. Men had y'all doing comparisons, which was also fucked up. If you don't do this like me, you're weak. I'm like, stop listening to dumb motherfuckers. That's weak men trying to keep you weak. All right, let's keep rolling. I want to keep rolling because some of y'all don't take that weak man keeping you weak and use that to do victim talk tonight. See, that's what I'm talking about. Some of these men out here be trying to keep us weak because they weak. That's not what the fuck I said. But that was the movement of the time. Was men who were in power were they had this idea that they were closing out anything that threatened, which is against reality, and they were trying to suppress each individual by using propaganda towards anybody that would cause a threat to their position of power. Right? Well, the gig is up. But instead of you guys taking this gate that opened and running through that gate and grabbing power, now you're buying into this victim dialogue as opposed to, yo, what is this power thing and what does it look like and how do we get this? Just keep rolling.
If their spouse is in a bad mood, they're in a bad mood too.
Wait. If their spouse is in a bad mood, they're in a bad mood too? Victims? Okay, keep going.
If they hit traffic on the way to work, they bring their anger and frustration to work with them.
Damn fucking traffic. Damn, everything be going wrong in my life. Keep going.
If a project they're leading isn't on track, they blame someone on their team.
You see how everything, so that you ask the person, how was your day today? It's so rough. Victim. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. I just be like, why was it so rough? Oh, because this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. You know what I'm going to say next is, so what did you do? Now, if your next phrase is, I don't know, what should I do? That's why you can't solve the problem. You don't even know what questions to ask because you're stuck in a victim loop. This is stealing your power, people. Ain't the white man stealing your power. White man has taught you these principles by being part of the working class, but this shit is stealing your power. Keep going.
Self-accountability.
Next slide? Or the same slide? Next slide.
This one.
Okay. So now we're going to self-accountability.
Yeah.
So we're done with, so keep going. We're still on self-accountability. Go ahead. Read this one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Self-accountability is the strength of realizing that even though you don't control everything, you do control how you respond to everything.
Game. Remember I said agility is the most important thing? So because the world's going to change outside of your control, it's not that you control everything, it's controlling how you respond to everything, because you can't be agile if your response is off. You guys get where I'm going with this? You'll victimize yourself just because you don't know how to respond. Keep going.
It's a mindset that empowers you to act and not just react to whatever life throws at you.
Then that's called entrepreneur. This is wolf talk now. This is entrepreneur shit. We learn to not just react, but act in spite of what life throws at us. I want you to hear how powerful that shit is. This is the very core of who the fuck we are. Life don't never, every day I wake up, life says, guess what? I got some new shit for you. And guess what? I go, okay, cool. Ask Neil, well, we're going to do this, and this. What's next? Well, if that don't work, we'll do this, and this. You know what? If that don't work, well, let's say, fuck it, let it happen. Shit. Am I lying, Neil? That's what the fuck, at the core, when you remove that victimization, now you're running your company. How do I run my company? Stop being a victim so you can run your company. Stop being a victim so you can control your family. Stop being a victim so you can control your neighborhoods. Stop being a victim so you can control your community. But as long as you're a victim, you have no control over all these institutions that you think are causing your problems.
Yo, that's fire. I also say that sometimes experts and scientists will give you a so-called out, and now you have a name for something. You say, I have
imposter syndrome.
I have social fasciitis, and that prevents the food from getting into my system, and it allows me, no, just do better. We'll always, scientists will give you a term that people can own that allows them to continue to be victims. But in actuality, there are no excuses. Fuck that shit.
I'm so with it. Come on.
Nana, what's the difference between being a victim versus accepting what you cannot control?
But okay, what you can't control doesn't victimize me. It just is. Victimization is, it shouldn't be there. The word is shouldn't. So if you interject the kind of distortion of shouldn't, then it turns you into a victim. If you say, okay, well, I guess that's where we're going now. Think about the people in Jerusalem who had all these plans the day before. If they stay in those plans, they die. When Israel told everybody, yo, you got 24 to 48 hours, get the fuck up out of here. If you stay in your old plans, you die. You got to say, this is what it is. I got to make a move. Now, what's the most effective way I can get the fuck up out of this town? And what's the effective way I can survive once I get out of this town? Because I do need these basic things, right? But if you have all these should literally positions you, is bad positioning in life itself. Where if you always pay attention to what's happening and you always reposition even your company, let's say you're selling apples for a living and the world's moving to a point that they don't want to buy apples no more, or they demonize or they calling apples soft. And now everybody's kind of like, I don't want to fuck with apples. And you're still selling apples and you didn't go to oranges? Fuck wrong with you? Mm-hmm. But if you're they should eat apples, it's good for them. All right, bro. All right, well, I see you at the EBT line. All right, let's keep rolling.
It transforms obstacles into opportunities for learning and growth.
Wait a minute. Let me see. Wait a minute. Let me see where you read that from. Where is that? Okay, there you go. It says it transforms obstacles. Black people, hear this out. I'm giving you the fucking formula of a lifetime. If you don't never come back to this class another motherfucking day, because I said motherfucking too many times for you, I need you to understand what this next line. I just gave you the formula to freedom, because most of the freedom you now experience is in your mind. Once I got your mind, I don't have to worry about physically. Nobody need to put chains on you because you got chains on your brain. So read this shit one more time.
It transforms obstacles into opportunities
Whoa!
for learning and growth.
So something that was an obstacle yesterday that you complained about, because you stopped being a victim, you found the opportunities that the obstacles were providing for you. Do you see the superpower in that shit? It's the way you think changes the output. It's a perception challenge. If you constantly see victimization, you can't see opportunities. This is why a lot of entrepreneurs are like, I don't see opportunities out here. You would never see them. And if you walk in the shoes of a victim, you will never see opportunities like that. Keep going.
It means realizing that the way you respond to hardship matters more to your happiness than the hardship itself.
Freeze. Each one of these lines are code. The way you respond to hardship matters more than hardship itself. This is so hard of what I'm going through, and it's so much. And you call your victim friends, yeah, I'm going through the same thing. This is just so rough, we're going through this. I just read a book called Why Are We Going Through This?
I cannot stand it.
Y'all see that shit, right? And it is like you walking around depressed as if motherfuckers, as if you gotta go sleep in a cage tonight every night because you don't have, because I live over here, and you do comparisons and you do all these stories, you tell yourself, and you watch all these other victims online. Before you know it, you're ready to leave this world.
I'm gonna do a freedom circle.
Or you gotta get drunk all the time. This is why I smoke weed, because it's hard to deal with this shit. This is why I drink all the time. It's so hard for me to deal with this shit. No, it's you. It ain't the shit. It ain't the world. Motherfuckers, if y'all lived during anarchy, not anarchy, when kings ruled, what do you call that?
Monarchy?
Monarchy, right? You lived during monarchy. Them people went through some shit. Go back 100 years ago. Those people, look at most America. Most Americans went through some shit. You over here with cars and shit. Fresh air, clean water that comes to your fucking house. A toilet you can actually flush and nothing comes up after you flush. And you're like, oh man, I'm such a victim. I'm going to bed early tonight. Oh, I ain't never heard a victim go to bed early. You don't have a choice if you're a victim. I don't think you guys understand this shit. You guys are softening because of these stories you're telling yourself, which is taking you out the game. And guess what evolution is going to do? It's going to just let you die, pass you right on by, and let the motherfuckers perform, continue to write the story. And your little hero ego is going to go out with a bang. No one cares. And God forbid your spirit and come to a funeral where there's only two people there. The funeral director and whoever has to help carry your goddamn coffin out the room.
Ouch.
Keep going.
And it means understanding that the best path is often just to accept things and move on.
Wait a minute. That's the coldest line, but I know this sounds fucked up because I want to say this all the time. I can't say it, but since we're in class, I'm going to have my first opportunity to say this shit. Accept this shit and move the fuck on. Accept the shit and move the fuck on. But accept the shit and move the fuck on. It doesn't mean you accept what happened. It means you start to move towards what works for you. The longer you sit in the space of victimization, you are re-victimized every fucking day. But never forget the goal is to be better than the day before. That's a win. But you can't be better than the day before because tomorrow is the beginning of restarting the victimization all over again. Is this shit cold? Now, you see why I had to go back into radical responsibility and stay with it for a little while? Because I think when we say radical responsibility, we think about, responsible. Well, shit, I guess I pay my car note now. No, motherfucker, that shit's gonna get repossessed anyway. I'm talking about like responsibility, meaning everything in your life, you don't realize in your everyday conversation, you sound like a fucking victim. And the victim movement is the hottest thing in America right now. This is why when you talk to real powerful people and you walk in that room and say victimization, they be like, move my drink before it gets in my drink. They don't want to give you no time. They don't want to fuck with you. They don't want to know you. If you meet a powerful person and you start a conversation from a space of victim, they're already planning an exit strategy. It's that simple. They don't want to fuck with you. They don't want to coach you. They don't want to look at you. You're too much. And then you go back to your poor ass victimized friends. Get the fuck out of here. Next slide. Now we did self-accountability. Now we're going to self-knowledge. Court was just hitting y'all with this shit. I'm just going to add a little bit to it. Go ahead. Next. I'm trying to explain. We're going to do this dance for a little while. We already started doing it, so I just, I'm leaning into it. We've been dancing and we've been doing busting moves and hitting robot moves and your turn. He throw it back at me. Ha! And he throw, so I'm leaning into it. Let's go for it.
Self-knowledge is about knowing your own strengths and weaknesses.
Okay. This is the base. You can't use none of this shit you learn in this class. You can't learn no scaling if you don't know about your strengths and weaknesses. Keep going.
You must know what you can do and what you can't.
So here's the thing. When you have a hero, you think you can do everything. You can't. If you can't spend as much time acknowledging what you can't do as much as you can do, because some of us, we don't want to embrace limiting beliefs. So we want to believe we can do everything, right? There's some things you can't do. Your brain don't have certain capabilities. Your eyes can't see everything. You can't hear everything. You can't process everything. In a world of 1 billion people, you definitely can't see those motherfuckers, right? You can't be perfect. Right? You can't save everybody. There's some things that can't be done. If you can't accept that strategy, you will waste time and sometimes try to integrate that into your strategy. Keep going.
Your powers and limitations, your strengths and vulnerabilities, what's in your control and what isn't. You know what you know and what you don't know.
Okay, first of all, that's cold. Fake it till you make it got you fucked up. Because you overexpanded what you think you know, and you're just waiting to spend hella money on some shit you don't know. Once you hella clear about what you don't know, you will also know not to play in arenas where you don't know. So, for example, if I'm competing with somebody, I'm trying to do business, or somebody comes to me about investing in stocks and bonds, somebody talks to me about selling a certain product. If I don't know anything about that industry, I'm out. I don't know that shit. It doesn't mean you can't go practice it, but by you being honest, you now can start building a realistic foundation and build a plan and a map on how to know. But if you think you know, do you understand how much money you're about to lose and how many relationships you're going to damage and how many times you're going to... Okay, never forget, in business, there's this thing called competition. If a puppy jumps in the pool with a whole bunch of wolves, we're going to kill him every fucking time. So in competition, if you get your chest bowled and you get your friends and family to give you money to go into the arena with the wolves and get killed every time, and now you want to blame the wolves, but you didn't recognize what you didn't know. You want to go with this? You got to play the game you practice. That's like you practice basketball all year long and you decide you want to play baseball. What's different? It's just baseball. Michael Jordan said, I didn't even have the body for that shit. He like trash the first year. You play baseball or basketball, you say you want to play football, you knock the fuck out with a concussion. You got to know the game you playing. That's called positioning. You got to know the game you playing. Too many of us don't know the game we playing, and we start making it fake, and we're trying to figure things out. We got some lucky hits, and some things kind of worked out, and some people saved us, and we think, okay, we rolling now. You don't know the game you playing. And guess what? You hire me, and I rob you for everything you got because you don't know the game you playing. You make a decision that you think is a positive, good decision because it makes sense to you, and all of a sudden, your bank account's down to zero. Or you owe the government or city or state money. And the reason you made that decision, because you never took on an intern relationship to learn the game. So you understand that even though this seems normal, some of these decisions are counterintuitive. Meaning that they don't feel rational unless you're inside this industry. You don't know the game you're playing. You watch Court sell clothes, you're like, well, Court can sell it. And Court is like a regular dude from Oakland. Oh, I can sell some clothes. You don't know the game he's playing. You get out there and you go to a festival and Court smash on you and give you $20 so he can get you something to eat when you go home. And you may, he should have helped me. He should have supported me. You don't know the game you playing. You see where I'm going with that? Keep rolling.
And you know, moreover, that you have cognitive blind spots.
Keep going.
That there are things you don't know, and you don't know them. What Donald Rumsfeld famously called unknown unknowns.
I mean that in business and life and everything is hella unknown unknowns. As entrepreneurs, we sit around looking for all the time. We're seeking out knowledge. That's why we read so fucking much. Why? I'm in marketing industry. I read more marketing books today than I did when I started. I read them every day. I read every day about marketing stuff, strategies. And I learn something new almost daily. There's certain levels of, there's a certain level of knowledge that your surrounding gives you no evidence. You won't see it. There's nothing in your surrounding because your brain only can see stuff based upon what it knows. It can't see. If you don't know the signs, you won't see the signs, so your surroundings won't reveal the answers. So there's unknown, like system thinking is all unknown. But once you learn it, you can see it, but you realize it's not meant to be seen. That's the. I get into that some other day once we get past this part. But it's where the miracles happen, but they're not really miracles. They're just the unseen principles that you don't know exist. And so there's so many different things that are dictating outcomes in your business and your life that are unknown until you grow to a certain point. You'll never be able to see them. So you have to realize you're living in a world where there's things you just won't know. It's just things you just won't know. And in that process, you're excited as you get older, you learn more and more and more. But it doesn't mean that you ain't supposed to take on a lifestyle until you're 75 years of age. You got to move. But you got to also be humble in this game. Once you get egotistical, you about to get screwed. You got to know what you don't know. Keep going.
Understanding what you do and don't
There
know
you go.
is the key to playing games you can win.
There you go. Imagine if you went to, so let's say you're a professional blackjack player. Somehow you've learned the game of probability where at the end of the year you could come out 100 grand more than what you started with. You go take losses and wins and losses, wins and losses, but you learn this strategy. Just say this, if it's possible. What happens when you play roulette wheel? You get smashed. That's not your game. Or if you start betting on sports, that's not your game. In business, it's the same thing. When you play games you don't understand, you're going to be the weakest person in the team on the field. When you play games you've been practicing, oh, you're the big dog now. But you got to know what that is. But when you think you do everything, then you're not really positioning yourself to win because you keep positioning yourself in games you're the weakest player. And this has happened because a lot of y'all got jobs from just faking it till you make it, and you think when you come out here as entrepreneurs, you do the same shit. Well, if you come out here and you fake it, we're going to catch you because we're going to take all your money. You're going to spend hella money on hella dumbass seminars, invest in hella dumbass books, spend money on hella advisors and consultants, and I'm running right past you. Because you didn't realize, I don't know that game y'all playing. Next slide.
Knowing just what it is that you know is among the most practical skills you can have.
Mm-hmm.
The size of what you know isn't nearly as important as having a sense of your knowledge's boundaries.
Is that cold? Wait, stop. The size of what you know isn't nearly as important as having a sense of your knowledge boundaries. What are the boundaries of your knowledge? Have you ever sat down and thought about that? Sometimes you can get so caught up in how many words you have, the size of your vocabulary, how much you know about a certain particular field, and you get so many praises about how smart you are, don't realize you haven't never paid attention to the boundaries of your knowledge. Isn't that cold? Now, here's the cool thing about knowing boundaries of knowledge. Let me tell you this is a feedback solution. I'll tell Shakina when she gets back this, because this is a great one. Once you understand the boundaries of your knowledge, it's easier to receive feedback. You know why? Because if you understand my boundaries of knowledge is this, and I start giving you some advice over here, you're like, oh shit, tell me. I don't know nothing about that. Fuck, shh. What's your opinion? I ain't got no opinion, I just want to listen. But when you take this little bit, this narrow boundary of knowledge and think it means all this, oh no, I know. The hardest motherfucker in the world to teach is a motherfucker think they know or already know. Because you don't know the boundaries of your knowledge. Keep rolling.
Charlie Munger said, when you play games where other people have the aptitude and you don't, you're going to lose.
That's just it.
You have to figure out where you have an edge and stick to it.
That's all business is right there. What is your edge? And then stick to that edge. Figure out what's your edge in business and stick to it. When you keep playing these other games because, I see what Court's doing, I'm gonna do that too. He just said that. He just said that a minute ago. Court just said that in class. By you doing comparisons, you're losing your edge. Find your edge, stick to it, understand your boundaries, and if you wish to grow, if you wish to do something different, realize that's an investment you have to make. Not I'm just gonna do this too. Some of y'all got businesses and ideas that y'all want to do. Ain't did no motherfucking practice, ain't read no motherfucking books. You just seen somebody else doing it, you saw how much money they're making, and you ready to do it. You don't have an edge. And when you get out there with the competition is going to destroy you because that's what they're supposed to do. Matter of fact, poor performers become resources for bigger companies. They just use you as a resource. A lot of times you'll create a new idea and they'll be like, oh, thank you for the idea. And they take the idea and run with it. Ain't shit your broke ass can do about it. What you gonna do, bring your little cousin in as a lawyer? You see my boys here? Sit your ass down where I make my money. And no, I don't need to acknowledge you. In fairness, I just changed the name. What are you talking about? I made this up. My cousin, uncle, nephew, niece decided to make this shit. I don't know what you're talking about. That's the world you live in.
It's like white elephant gifts at Christmas. Somebody get to come through and take your gift.
Yeah. But that's when you don't understand your edge in business and you don't play your game. This is wolf talk we're doing right now. You really just supporting other people's ideas because you don't understand your edge. And once you understand your edge, grow that edge, sharpen that edge, strengthen that edge, and run hard in that direction. And if something is revealed to you, then if you don't have time to grow that edge, hire somebody who gives you an edge. But this whole thing, I'm gonna figure it out, and then people are gonna respect that, my hard work, and then people are gonna reward me. If you don't stop playing this make-believe television, fake-ass reality game, no one gives a fuck about you like that. Keep going.
It's not enough to know where you have an edge. You also have to know when you are operating outside of it.
So when you're outside of your edge, or am I operating outside of my edge right now? Am I doing shit where this is really not my strength? You know how to tiptoe, you know how to move a certain kind of way. If you think you're strong in an area you're not strong, you're gonna move in a way where you're gonna break more shit than you build. Keep going.
If you don't know which side of the line you're on, or that there even is a line at all, you're outside your boundaries.
Ooh. So if you don't even know there's a line for your boundaries, you're outside of it. Not knowing is also the same as being outside your boundaries. Go ahead. Microphones. Just how you writing or you eating? Okay, you go. Go ahead.
Sorry. In the case where you unexpectedly get an opportunity, right, that for something that's maybe outside of your edge, but it's a growth opportunity, is there some value to build the plane as you fly it, or like you said, investing and let me get ready because this is outside of my
If you know
expertise?
you're outside your boundaries, you know how to move outside that, you can build strategy. So strategy could be, get a position, you don't know anything about that. Oh, I'm locking in. Oh, your weekends ain't weekends. Your weekend's gone. Oh, I'm about to be in reading. I'm about to take these seminars. I'm about to be hanging out. I'm gonna hang out, find out the people who are hella tight. Hey, I'm about to buy them lunch every day. I'm about to pick their brain. Like, you're on a mission to gain some momentum in that space, and you shutting the fuck up until it's time for you to speak.
Okay.
Right? It's when you don't know there's a line, you will speak inappropriately. You will argue fairness. You will try to make decisions. You'll you do so many things to just destroy your role. And that's one of the reasons that a lot of people are not promoted in certain companies, because they don't know their edges. Now, mind you, when you talk about race, I want y'all to see this. Let's go macro for a minute. So as we talk about being victims, do we ever get a chance to talk about this kind of shit right here? It'll never come up. When you're a victim, you're never thinking about, am I outside of my boundaries of knowledge? But once you remove the victim conversation, you go, well, why is it not working? Oh, let's examine what we're doing. What is our boundaries of knowledge? What's our responsibility for this role? And because when you're not a victim, you start finding the opportunities. But when you're a victim, they just ain't hiring black people. And wait, but did you see what he said? Oh, that's micro racism. You see what he just said? He said, hey, brother, I ain't no he must think he black and some shit like, this is why I ain't never got a promotion. No, you suck. You outside your boundaries of knowledge. You have no idea what that is. You see how you can just easily, it's the same situation, but you can take the wrong perspective because you're a victim. But if you go into the space of radical accountability, responsibility, you'll find this on your own throughout this class. Keep going.
Self-knowledge isn't limited just to hard skills, though. It's also about knowing when you're vulnerable to your defaults.
Ooh, it's gonna get cold. It's gonna get a little uncomfortable, y'all. It's gonna get a little uncomfortable. Go ahead.
The kinds of situations where circumstances do the thinking for you.
Keep going.
Maybe you're prone to being overly emotional, to sadness, anger, or intrusive self-defeating thoughts. Maybe you have a short temper when you're tired, or you become an ogre when you're hungry. Maybe you're acutely sensitive to social pressure and the threat of social scorn.
Keep going. Oh, okay, wait. Go back. Let me hit this one real quick. You don't get to say, I'm known to have an attitude. This is actually a positioning statement. So positioning is this. If I go to work tomorrow and I gotta go, so first I got a big business meeting tomorrow for a big new contract, right? If I don't get my 8 hours of sleep and I miss some questions, that's my fault. If I didn't eat before that meeting, that's my fault. If I didn't prime my brain for this meeting, it's my fault. I don't get to say, well, my family ain't never had contracts like this. It's my fault. I have to always position myself in every opportunity I can to win. If I find myself out of position, then silence myself, retract myself, and then reestablish myself to get back in the game and win. But I don't get to blame nothing for my behavior, my altered behavior. Like if somebody was bumping Nzinga and knock her down and look at her like, get out of my fucking way. Yeah, you're going to see the other side. See the other side. I'll fuck you up for my daughter. But I have to have control of that. Because also, what if somebody set me up and then they bump my daughter so I can walk into an ambush? This is my father. I told you my father was a major dope dealer. These are things I got a chance to see as a young child, where he learned these things as a dope dealer. That you don't get to blame your emotions. That's the lower quality dope dealer. That's a street level, low, dumb dude who runs all the errands. The dude at the top of the game, he doesn't respond to emotional shit. He realizes he has to control his all his default reactions. As a human being, you have innate behavior that's designed for you to survive, not for you to be successful. That's got you all the way here. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of years. It got you here. It's in you as fresh as it was the day we were first brought here. So it's not about that power. These seats. Oh, I hate this fucking seat. That power is not. Make sure we order another seat. Should we? Make sure we order another seat. This shit's trash. Yeah, it's too. We're almost at the end of class. I want to. We have these innate behaviors. So, for example, like a rabbit, right? A rabbit doesn't figure out who you are. If a rabbit sees you, what does it do? It darts. Rabbit don't give a fuck. It ain't got a chance to figure out false positive or false negatives. All that rabbit realizes is that as long as I continue to run, I have a higher chance of surviving, right? We have some of the same things inside of us that's designed for survival over intelligence. So we're in certain situations that's uncomfortable, our brain goes into survivor mode. So we may get emotional, sad, anger, self-defeating thoughts, all that kind of stuff is part of the game. As an entrepreneur, you got to start to learn how to see that coming and create tools or habits to avoid responding to those type of things. No one will ever in real business, you can't go to somebody who's highly performing in business and says, I got so angry, okay, man, I gotta get out of here, man. Let me know when you're ready to grow up. Babies are pure emotional responses. People of high level of poverty are probably the next level of emotional responses. But people at the top realize emotions is part of the game. It doesn't mean you won't feel it because it's innate. I'm just explaining to you that you can't avoid it. You can't say, oh, I'm never going to feel angry. Oh, you're going to feel angry. You can't say I'm never going to be sad. Oh, you're going to be sad. But as an entrepreneur, it's what you do with it. And so you have to know, self-knowledge says, in these situations, I will get angry. If I don't eat before this meeting, I'm going to be sensitive. So if I don't eat, I have to ask people, hey, can I be excused from this meeting for a minute and get some food real quick? Right? But what you don't do is like, food don't matter, that shit don't matter, I'm gonna just get through it. Right? You married to somebody, and this person has an angle on you that the world doesn't have. We're gonna go to business together. No, the fuck you're not. No, the fuck you're not. That person has access to a weakness about you because you know yourself. That person could be an investor, but as an investor, they're going to talk to your partner, and hey, I'm out of it. I don't really talk business with you two guys, talk about it, but I don't talk to you about it because I love you like that. You got to know who you are in your evolution and just reposition yourself strategically so you can be in a winning position. It's the ignoring of who you are puts you in compromising positions where you're like, oh no, I always get mad. Oh no, it's because you don't think about the shit before. Your sleep, your food, your exercise, all that shit is positioning you to win. And yet you treat it as if, oh, working out's a good thing to do. And I feel like my legs are getting nicer now. Oh my God, this workout thing is working. No, you're making, in your business meetings, you're having better business meetings because you're fucking working out. You're having better business meetings because you're getting your full 8 hours of sleep. You get better business meetings because you meditated before you got to the fucking meeting. You have business meetings because you know that when people ask you certain questions, you never answer right away. Because you know, for example, we all know as a human being, if I came to you right now and said, there's a certain way a salesperson can reach you. Like if you ever go buy a car, a salesperson can catch you at a certain angle, let you test drive the car. Once you test drive the car, they know that your sense of ownership is going to say, this is my car, right? Then they're going to do all these little tricks. They're pulling on your instinct. The reason I can kill car salespeople because I know my instincts. I know your instincts. I know all the instincts happening. I know all the tricks. So when they say certain things, I just instantly call it out to disarm them. They'll say something like, so you love the car? I really don't give a fuck. Because you're trying to make me fall in love with this car. I don't really give a shit. I don't give a shit about this number you're going to give to me. Well, I'm not going to make any money. I don't even know you. What the fuck are you talking about? Right? I just keep doing and I feel like I'm being an asshole, but I'm stopping me from getting caught up because I'm human and I know if at one point I go, oh, he got me. That's what a human being. I know my weaknesses. So I don't allow myself to be in that position. I don't drink and smoke weed. Not that I wouldn't like it or like some drinks. It's because I know that's a bad position for me. If I start drinking, I'm gonna end up in a lot of bedrooms. I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'm like, who are you? And where the fuck am I? I know me. I know I ain't shit like that, right? I know that I never want to get happy or comfortable with being high. Why? Because I realize I don't understand reality enough to be escaping it. Watch this. You hear what I just said? Mm-hmm. I don't understand reality enough to be escaping it. I'm trying to master reality. Why the fuck am I doing escaping it when I'm at the bottom of the game? I'm a black man in America at the bottom of the game and I'm escaping? What fucking sense does that make? As a black man, I need to be president going, what the fuck was that? Explain to me something. Tell me something. I need to learn some shit because I need to get the fuck out of here. But you drunk and high and you avoiding responsibilities? Or I was always taught as a man, hey, your job, this is your manhood responsibilities. Now, let's say when I was going through stuff and I was broke, my wife said, well, let me just take you out. Nah, babe. I don't want to get numb to this. I don't want to get used to this. See, because I know me. I can get used to some shit. I came from like my family who had to go to the church and ask for food so we can have dinner. And I was having a great time in my life. So I can get used to poverty. I can get used to not having. I can get used to sitting with the broke people. And so guess what I said? I said, no, let me suffer. Because this suffering is going to keep me sensitive and keep my brain aware and keep me hungry for knowledge, keep me humble to figure out how to get the fuck out of here. But if I got comfortable, I ain't reading no books. I ain't going to be working out. I promise you, it's going to be some sad shit. I'm going to be a video game master with oily skin. Because I don't do shit. So I'm trying to explain to you guys, like, this shit, self-knowledge is cold. Go to the next slide. I'm going to explain to you where we're going when we get back. The next one. I'm giving you the 4 pillars. But when we get to the last pillar, it's the solution. It's a solution. I'm gonna give you an early exposure to the solution. So some of y'all, if y'all leave this weekend, fly to New York and you don't have no internet, make sure you have access to this. I'm gonna tell you this real fast, and I'm in this class. I'm not gonna say nothing funny. This is real. Most of these weaknesses that we've been talking about today, from social justice weaknesses, victim weaknesses, sensitivity weaknesses, anger weaknesses, emotional weaknesses, poor strategy thinking, distraction with noise, lack of focus, horrible, can't stand feedback. You know where that comes from? And when I tell you guys, you'll be like, fuck, you lack confidence. If you grow your confidence, you're the opposite side of the fence. You won't even see it. It's behind you. Find somebody who's confident that they're going to make it. You can't stop them. You can't offend them. You can't prevent them. They're going for it. Find somebody that's not confident. You just say one word. See, you didn't say nothing. I don't want to do nothing now. We're going to take you through this process because self-control is the next one. Then we'll get to self-confidence. And when we get to self-confidence, I was hoping I could get there tonight, but we don't have enough time. But you're going to find that when they say this social justice movement, we're stealing your confidence. It's stealing your confidence. It's making you hopeless. If I steal your confidence, I take away your hope. So if you don't have no confidence in yourself, well, why don't you have confidence in yourself? You don't make any investments in yourself. Also, in order to get confidence, you gotta go through some shit. But if you keep avoiding everything and keep creating intervention every time things get rough, get high, get drunk, spend the money, avoid it, do some other shit. You're keeping yourself so weak that now all these other sicknesses and symptoms we've been talking about, that's why they're taking reign over you, right? If anybody get confident, I don't give a shit what gender, race, age, whatever you are. I can't stop you. That's the reason the reason I avoided social justice, the reason I left the pro-black movement, like if you ever talk to me and Mashama used to call herself pro-black for like 2 years. It was like, that definition doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. We're progressively black. We're moving forward. We're not gonna keep talking about the past. We're gonna move forward. we had so much confidence in ourselves that we missed a lot of the sensitivity talk. If you ever hung around me and Mashama, anybody ever hung around me and Mashama, we talk shit. Anybody who's sensitive, they can't be around us for long. We'll hurt your motherfucking feelings. Because we don't have antennas for that trash. Like you couldn't be like, oh, did you notice how he didn't even pay attention to you? I don't give a fuck you pay attention to me for. I ain't coming for him. She don't like you. What? Shit, she got some work to do, don't she? Shit, like, I don't give a fuck about her, right? My famous phrase, there's 8 billion people. Why the fuck you talking about one? Like, that's not a fucking number. If you have $8 billion, I take $1 from you, you'd be like, please do not wait me for no fucking $1. That's how the fuck I have so much confidence. I even have confidence in my mission while I'm here. How do you serve God? By serving your brothers and sisters. Everything I do is serve my brothers and sisters. I have so much confidence I'm doing God's work. You can't stop me, right? Y'all don't realize by y'all tearing down, pay attention to how you are destroying your confidence or you're not engineering your confidence. When we get back in class, I'm going to teach deeper into this, but pay attention to all those times when you had opportunities. Every time, mothers, when you coddle, brothers, not men, males, because males are they like the salted version of men. Males, when you coddle, you're destroying that child's confidence. When that child has a struggle and they finally get it, they got confidence. When you watch a child learn how to ride a bike and they figure it out, they got confidence. You over there keeping a training wheel on their bike when they're 10, that child has no fucking confidence. He got in sports and he got knocked the fuck out and you out there cussing out the coach. God damn you! You're destroying that child's confidence. Some of y'all like, I got fired yesterday. And somebody rubbed me on your shoulder all night. You know what, let's come over, let's go get some, let's go to Napa Girl, let's go get a restaurant, let's go get our drink on. Fuck them, we don't need these motherfuckers. Stop destroying their confidence. Heroes. You are the confident destroyer. Is our kids I want to say, I want to destroy your confidence. This is why entrepreneurs don't give you money. Because we realize that the struggle that you go through builds your confidence that allows you to weather this fucking storm of victimization. All this soft talk is anti-confidence talk. Because as you accomplish things you thought you never could accomplish, you start to gain, as you start to have wins build up in your past, you're saying, well, shit, if I can do that, I can do anything. But if every time it got hard for you, there was an intervener. When me and Court tell you the story about how our mother said, no, you're going to go outside and fight that dude. Now, when I'm walking down the street with my family, I'm walking with that same bravado. I'm 56 and got the bravado of a 12, 13, 15, 16, 20, 30, 40. I'm still walking with the same bravado. I'll beat your ass. I got confidence. But if my mother would have came, oh, baby, you know what? Let's call the police. He's a bully. He's just a bully. I'd still be like, today, what, you don't like me? Oh, my gosh. Excuse me.
That really,
fucking hate that. I swear to God.
that really got you good, didn't it?
Motherfucker.
That really bothered you.
No confidence. No confidence. You work in these corporate America, these white men, these not the white leaders, not the ones who perform. I'm talking about the white ones who are working these jobs. They move with no confidence. Oh, you're my best friend. You know, Kaja the other day, I don't think she did her job. I'm just saying, if you want to look it up, you can. Soft ass, no confidence. I don't think you guys understand how we are destroying confidence by this over intervening. You gotta let some things take its natural course, which gives us the power. Hard times produce confidence. If you get out of that hard time, when Court tells you the story of building a company and falling underneath the soil and climbing back, do you know his confidence is through the fucking roof? If everybody in this room turned around and said, Court, you ain't shit, he'd be like, hey man, everybody hire something? What the fuck, somebody got possessed? Cause I know they ain't talking to me. Cause I know I'm the shit. But he don't say he's a shit cause his ego's talking to him. It's cause this motherfucker has went through some shit. And he fought through it. And he climbed out. And every time he climbed out, he says, damn, I guess I am kind of dope. Damn, I guess I am amazing. Damn, I guess I am strong. And in the face of others, he's like, when somebody says something to him, he's like, I don't really have time to care about you. I got too much confidence. So trust me, when we get to the end of this conversation, we're gonna go past confidence, but I promise you, once you understand that you're on the wrong side of the fence, stop talking about white men and men, period, and straight people and gay people and Latino people. I don't know anybody talks about Latino people. All Latino people, Barry are hella cool. But anyway, Latino people, Asian people, cut all that shit out. Work on your confidence. Go through some shit. Win. Accomplish some shit. Test yourself. Push yourself. Discover parts of yourself that you didn't even know it fucking existed. If you're living in a life of comfort, you have no confidence. A life of comfort, you have no confidence. If everything's easy for you, you have no confidence. If you're always winning and you're always the best person on the court, you got no fucking confidence. That's why you always play with all the weak motherfuckers. If all your friends are dumber than you, you got no confidence. If you're the highest performer amongst your group, you're losing confidence. Confidence comes from winning battles. That being said, I see you after our week off. Oh, and by the way, next class, we're going to start going to salads. We're going to order salads from Greens and Grains. So put in your order with Tennille. We're going to start bringing chicken salads and all kinds of salads for folks. We're getting tired of this fucking bread. So we're going to try to shift to some healthier food. So Tennille's going to start putting in big orders at Greens and Grains. So everybody put in their order, and we make sure that everybody has a half salad, which is a big salad for everybody, except Jasadi. Jasadi's going to need something else. But the point is, no cookies for you, Jasadi. Just say, Jasadi, hey, wow. Okay, so people at home, Jasadi's looking at my legs. It's just something new. It's something new he's doing. I know, but once again, I'm accepting, and my confidence is so strong, I'm going to still love him because that's my little brother. So that being said, y'all have a good night. Peace.